Seats left vacant by Republicans Michael Waltz, who joined the new Trump administration as national security advisor, and Matt Gaetz, President Trump's first choice to be attorney general, who withdrew in the midst of an ethics investigation. Democrats are hopeful they can flip the seats. Randy Fine is the Republican running in Waltz's old district.
It's the crux of our campaign to make people understand that the Trump agenda is on the line.
Speaking on Fox and Friends, the Republican majority in the House would be thinner if they were to lose either or both seats.
Fox's Evan Brown in Miami. 2 other open House seats left vacant when Democratic lawmakers died will be filled later this year. Tomorrow, also Election Day in a Wisconsin state Supreme Court race that's drawn national attention, record funding, and strong turnout for early voting. Right now, that court has a 4-3 liberal majority, but a liberal justice is retiring. On Capitol Hill, Republicans plan a week of action on judges they say are fighting the Trump agenda.
The House and Senate will each hold Republican-led hearings looking at what some in the GOP call judicial overreach by activist judges. The House could take up a bill this week that would limit judges from issuing nationwide injunctions. This comes as the Trump administration has faced numerous legal challenges to its agenda so far, notably an order from District Court Judge James Boasberg to return flights bound for El Salvador carrying alleged gang members. Some Democrats have accused Republicans of trying to intimidate the judges.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz in Washington. The Justice Department is dropping lawsuits against the state of Georgia over what Republicans call an election integrity law. The Biden Justice Department had accused the state of intentionally suppressing black votes. America is listening to Fox News.
Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts will take the world by storm.
Yes! The world has never faced a threat this big. And you're gonna help me stop it.
Us?
Why, you got someplace to be?
On May 2nd.
Avengers are gone. No one's coming to save the day.
Their time.
I think we could be the people that are coming.
Has come.
Being the hero, there is no higher calling.
Let's do this.
Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts. Only in theaters May 2nd. This film is not yet rated.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. If you have a 2004 or newer vehicle that's out of warranty or about to be, Endurance is urgently notifying U.S. drivers about their low-cost vehicle coverage plan designed to save drivers thousands on rising vehicle repair costs. Those who qualify can pick their plan, coverage, and repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental cars included. All covered repairs get paid directly to the repair shop for you. Call now for your free quote. Call 800-298-9383. 800-298-9383.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
The chill in the air on this Monday afternoon thanks to the northwest flow. More and more sun appearing. 55 for the high. You're caught in that wind. It's going to feel a little bit colder. Partly to mostly clear skies tonight. Have to call it cold, though the winds will be fading. 35. Tuesday, partly sunny, 59. A growing concern about some strong to severe thunderstorms Wednesday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
If you're a supporter of the Second Amendment, you need to be a member of the Reign St. Louis West. Mark Cox here. You know, they get free lanes and free firearm rentals, 5% off firearms and suppressors, 10% off accessories, and 15% off classes. The new benefit on Sundays from 10 to noon, the lanes are for members only. And in April, you get 2 free basic cleanings of a modern firearm. Check them out at 14803 Manchester Road in Baldwin, therangestl.com.
A lot of people are getting their air conditioners tuned up and ready to go for the summer, and We're getting a lot of calls of people saying they want a second opinion, to have us come out and requesting us to come out there and take a look at their air conditioners. They've been told that they need a new one, and the repair is quite costly and might be best for them to replace the air conditioner and then repair it. If you're in that situation, please give me a call, because there is truly some opportunities here for you that we could save you lots of money, because I'm sure you're going to be shocked. We have the equipment that still works best for you with your budget. It's pretty much the best. It's what I would put in my home. It's what I would recommend. Give me a call. It's Bart Inman. One easy number, the easiest number in Missouri and Illinois. That is 314-293-2600. Or the online thing, and that is bartinman.com. That's Bart with B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you self-conscious? Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, Beth, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Happy Monday. Welcome to the Annie Fry Show. There is so much to talk about today, and I'm so glad to be back here in the chair, ready to cover all of it. Joe Concha is going to be with us at 12:25. We've got Steve Moore on the economy at 1:05, right at the top of the 1 o'clock hour, and Will Chamberlain is going to update us on the congressional efforts to limit district judges. We'll discuss that with Will Chamberlain at 1:25. But I want to get to the YouTube poll right now. This is going to be a fun one. I was kind of toying with the idea, maybe possibly taking phone calls on this. I don't know if we're going to get to that because we do have a pretty packed show. But there was a conversation taking place this weekend, and it's taken place in several other times over the course of probably maybe in the campaign even, where Donald Trump was asked a certain question or it's posed to him, and he has a way of tugging at people.
You said you were not joking about a third term, about possibly wanting a third term. Does that mean you're not planning to leave office on January 20th?
I'm not looking at that, but I'll tell you, I have had more people ask me to have a third term, which is, in a way, it's fourth term, because the other election, the 2020 election was totally rigged. So it's sort of a fourth term in a certain way. I just don't want the credit for the second, because Biden was so bad. He did such a bad job. And I think that's one of the reasons that I'm popular, if you want to know the truth. I think I'm popular because we've done a great job. I think we've had the best almost 100 days of any president. And most people are saying that. And it's an honor. We're bringing back our country. We're respected as a country again. And we're strongly respected. And people are amazed. I was with some very important people today, and they said that they've never seen a turnaround of the country as fast as this. Even look at our border. We have nobody coming in. And you can come into our country, but you have to come in legally. But we have nobody coming in to our country. It's almost shut down. They've never seen anything like this.
At an appropriate precedent limits a president to 2 terms. Is it your understanding that they have to
I
make...
don't even want to talk about it. I'm just telling you, I have had more people say, please run again. They said, we have a long way to go before we even think about that. But I've had a lot of people. Yeah, go ahead. Did you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, do you think that's an appropriate precedent to set, even if it wasn't you in this position, to see a president serve a third term?
I don't want to talk about a third term now because no matter how you look at it, we got a long time to go. We have a long time. You know, we have almost 4 years to go. And that's a long time. But despite that, so many people are saying, you've got to run again. They love the job we're doing. Most importantly, they love the job we're doing.
Would you please promise to not run for a third term for the love of God? Well, I don't want to talk about that. But what about the third term? And I'm going to go read Andy's comment here. Andy, I love you, Andy. You're here every day, and we appreciate you for being that. On YouTube, he says, no, and I'm shocked. Who could have thought this would ever need to be a poll? It's our poll for today, and I hope that you will come vote and tell us what you think. Would you support a third term for President Trump? Yes or no? Do we know who the reporter was that was not giving up on that question?
No idea.
Okay, I got a little bit of a theory here. This is totally off. This is cheese off the cracker theory. You guys ready for it?
Love these.
Yeah, I know you do. That's what makes me question if I should say it out loud, Brian Wiggins.
Well, you can bring it on, and I'll give you a grade.
We've got special elections this week. Wisconsin, Florida, congressional seats hugely implicative on the balance of power in the House of Representatives. I'm kind of more suspicious about the signal thing now. People were like, ooh, it happened right before the intelligence hearing. Wow, they dropped it in right before the intelligence hearing. These folks are looking for a scandal. And this is where, especially knowing that we are 2 months into Donald Trump's term, I'm sniffing, I'm hunting, which means I'm going to catch wind of some things that maybe aren't actually going to materialize into what I'm wondering about. But we're probably also going to see some of these things a little bit earlier than other folks might, just because we're looking for them. But they need a scandal. Donald Trump did too long of doing everything that he said he was going to do. People are like, can you believe he's doing that? And everyone's like, yeah, I voted for that. That's why I voted for him. Never voted for Trump before, but that's why I voted for him now. And he's hitting home runs, one after the other, after the other. The worst he's doing is it's not quite a home run, it's a double. And they don't have anything to push against him because the messaging on policy doesn't work for the Democrats. And you can tell because they don't even try. There's no, we talked about this last week. Name a concern that the Democrats have right now about what Donald Trump is doing. Name anything that they're out there strongly advocating for their policy to be enacted instead of what Trump is doing, or where they're trying to lobby Donald Trump to see things a little bit differently than he sees them, or to consider a different policy, or maybe a different, maybe it's 75% Trump policy and 25% you could see it our way, or, that whole like 80% compromise thing that Reagan talked about. The Democrats don't have anything right now. And you can tell because they're in an emotional breakdown across the country. An absolute fits and tantrums, emotional, mental breakdown. And I'm convinced that the people who are very much so invested in the success of beating Donald Trump know that they have to keep the people angry. They have to keep the voters, the electorate. There has to be an appearance that there is a righteous indignation that you can hitch your wagon to. And, okay, maybe you aren't going to go out and key a Tesla, but I will put my hate has no homes sign in my front yard. And then we're just all together and unified. They are unified. The lunatic version of the Democratic left is unified, but it's repelling people who don't love Trump but aren't interested in being associated with what the Democratic Party has become. So when you listen to Donald Trump there on Air Force One, answering this reporter's question over and over and over again, and he rebuffs the question every time. It's never about what Donald Trump is saying he wants to do. Donald Trump didn't say, I'm going to call a 1 p.m. presser where I'm going to talk about my plans for my third term. That didn't happen. Plant the seeds, see what grows, see what people will latch onto. And the signal chat thing from last week, I don't even know if that's a story, if that's going to be a story that permeates this week by Thursday, if that will still be discussed. But they need something else. And they need you to be frightened when it comes time to vote. And this week, it's time to vote in Florida and in Wisconsin. Guys, the Democrats always do well in these special elections. They always do well in the special elections. It's a huge story if a Republican wins one of these because the amount of money that gets flooded into ththey special elections, they don't even honestly care a whole lot about the seat. They care about the narrative that comes after winning that election. Where you can say, look, they're shaking fists at the sky in Florida or in Wisconsin. Well, listen, you lost the really important Wisconsin race when Donald Trump won in 2024, and you're going to put all of your resources behind trying to show that the tides have changed. Donald Trump has been president, and Wisconsin feels differently right now. That's the plan. That's what they're going to do. It's hard enough to get people to vote in general elections. People don't vote. People don't vote in special elections. The percentage of people who vote in scheduled spring elections. We've got, I know in Illinois, next Tuesday? Not this Tuesday, but the next Tuesday?
We've got local elections this Tuesday.
Yeah.
This Tuesday?
Yeah. Tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. It's time to get out and vote.
Now, Missouri has some elections that are next Tuesday, though, so it depends.
Okay. I've been watching a lot of the people who are, advocating, my friends on my personal social media feeds who are advocating for their local, if you're looking at aldermen or you're looking at mayors or you're looking at, whatever the case might be, school boards, library boards. Support Andrew Kassenbaum for the Glen Carbon Library Board. That'd be great. It's not an unpaid endorsement. These are really important, necessary elections to vote in. Go see how many votes it takes to win one of these elections. Your mind will be blown.
Oh, yeah. In Collinsville, and we have some really contentious elections going on in Collinsville
No
right
kidding.
now.
Anybody you want to endorse
up
here
and
on
down
the
the
Annie
line.
Fry Show?
Well, Derek Cox has been the township supervisor, and I would say the left in Collinsville is going after him hard.
Yeah, I like Derek Cox. He's a good vote, I think.
He is a fiscal conservative, and he has done a lot of stuff to try to save the city money. And, man, they've just gone after him up and down the line, though. It's like library board. Everything is on the line in Collinsville for some reasons, making semi-statewide news. But I voted on Saturday. Early voting ended about an hour after I voted. So very little time between when I voted and when early voting would end. 760 people had voted in the entire city.
706. Enough people to throw that election one way or the other.
That's
I'm talking to
Yeah.
you right now through the radio speakers. You could do this yourself. Make it happen. Show up and advocate for somebody if you know that there's somebody. Library boards really matter.
Yes.
It's kind of crazy.
And it's amazing how the national narrative has become local. To the point that I have people knocking on my door telling me, yeah, we want to get less Christianity in the libraries. I kid you not. People have come to my door, knocked on my door, and said, yeah, we represent that faction. Like, I don't think I'll be voting
Why
with you.
are they coming to your door? Aren't you a registered Republican?
I don't know if I'm registered Republican. I might be registered independent still because I like hearing from the candidates.
Man, that's a good reason for me to register Republican.
I like when they come and they tell me those things because I ask a couple questions. The only interaction I really would have with them is that moment.
Do you reply, have you accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior?
I did not.
Which is not a Lutheran thing to say, by the way.
My eyes got wide and they realized, oh, maybe we hit the wrong talking point with this potential voter.
Who are your candidates?
The entire apparatus of feigned manufactured outrage. It's so important to look at the timelines on these things. And the idea, I'm really curious. I regret right now not making the options in this poll different. I said, would you support a third term for president? Yes or no? I should have done yes, no, but it would be funny, or no, that's unconstitutional. Because I think the no's will probably get more votes in that version than in my straight up yes or no.
Yeah.
I know you support Donald Trump. Well, I don't know that you do, but most listening do. And if you don't, then of course you wouldn't support a third term. But do you want to see him, break the mold and try to attempt a third term? Is that what you need? Is that what America needs? I really want to read some of the comments throughout the course of the show on this, and maybe depending on what kind of reaction we get, maybe we should set a bar for the show that if by 2 o'clock we get a certain number of votes in the poll, that we'll take calls in the 2 o'clock hour.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
300 votes by the 2 o'clock hour, which is high. We don't always get 300 votes in the whole thing. But if we get 300 votes by the time we open the mics in the 2 o'clock hour, which is like 2:06, we'll take phone calls in that segment on whether or not you would support a third term for President Trump.
I also want to mention, this is now, year 9 or 10 of the Donald Trump era in the United States. That he would answer questions like this should not be a surprise to anybody. You know, when they ask him, are you
It's
opposed
a surprise to the left every time.
It really is. I saw the headline this weekend and went, here we go. I don't know the context, but I really want to see it.
Sound like a cartoon ghost.
It sounds like, wasn't that Elizabeth Warren?
Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
So sad. So scary.
But when he does this, it's just the same as, you're not going to take any military action to get Greenland, right? He's like, I don't think we would probably do that, but, you know.
He's going to invade Greenland.
I would prefer that we not do that. You're like, well, that's not the answer that you'd think that you would give as a politician. And he's doing that here. He's like, oh, gosh, shoot, we're in our third term now.
Listen, I don't even want to talk about it.
Hook, line, sinker, every single time. I continue to look across this administration and think that they are delivering. They're way outpacing what I think any of us expected them to do, and we knew that they were going to be hitting the ground running. We knew that they were going to be prepared on day one. I get the president's schedule every day, and every day it's like 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. President signs executive orders. I just think they just leave it in there. Like, oh, we got to get some EOs to sign by 1 o'clock. What do you got?
Paper straws? Yeah, let's do that today.
I got nothing. This straw sucks. How about we get rid of them? It's just the way it goes every day. Let's see here. Erica says no. Constitutionally, he's done in 2028. Let the next generation of MAGA take over. Wolf says 2 terms is just fine. Make way for JD to get in next. Vicky says, absolutely not. This is when I wish he would have someone tell him, quote, no need for stupid comments. And Jack says, no, absolutely not. We have term limits for a reason. And, of course, Andy said, no, and I'm shocked. Who could have thought this would ever need to be a poll? And the biggest takeaway I have, Andy, is that you thought that the Annie Fry Show poll is a need. Thank you. I appreciate that. Very flattered.
Determines national policy.
It does, that they're listening right now. Maybe we should come up with some EO suggestions. We should do a segment on that. I have some ideas.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Fun.
Let's take a quick break. Joe Concha will be with us when we come back. Always plenty to talk about, and Joe Concha is one of our favorite guests to have on. Fox News contributor Joe Concha, next.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Advisory Group is guiding people just like you out of your working career and into retirement with ease, with peace of mind. Doesn't that sound lovely? I don't know that you could really go into retirement, at least not by choice, and not feel like you are prepared. That's a little scary. You need to know what the lay of the land is, and you need to make sure that your work that you've put in saving over the course of your career is going to be protected by the smart money moves that you need to make. So you call Thomas Helbig, you call Bob and Tammy Kershaw. They're great. Both sides of the river, they're happy to help you at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. Call them and schedule a free sit-down conversation. It doesn't cost you anything to learn about them, to get to know them, to see if you want to hire them, to give you that worry-free retirement. They're excited to meet you. Call them, tell them you're from the Annie Fry Show, and let them know that you'd like to have that sit-down talk. 314-993-9494. You can also learn all about what I'm talking about here online at their website at retirementkey.com.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The biggest piano sale of the year is being held at the Muni starting Thursday, April 3rd through Sunday, April 6th. Hi, this is Kathy from Lacefield Music, and every year Lacefield Music supports the Muni by loaning the Yamaha pianos needed for all their coaching, rehearsal, and performance needs. In appreciation, the Muni hosts an annual sale of all the pianos used during the season. In addition to the loan pianos, a huge selection of new and used pianos will be brought to the Muni for you to shop. New Yamaha Grands, Uprights, Clavinovas, and Disclavier player pianos, plus new and used Zyler, Kawai, Baldwin, Roland, and vintage Steinways. All will be offered at rock bottom prices. The event is at the Muni starting April 3rd. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are by appointment only. Sunday is open to the public. Call 314-860-2712 to make an appointment. That's 314-860-2712.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25-RHINO.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
The History of the Lou with Sue.
For a fascinating journey through the storied past of St. Louis. Don't miss out on discovering remarkable tales that make our city such a unique place.
The History of the Lou with Sue.
Sundays at 6 p.m.
You know, Joe.
I don't know nothing.
But if two guys who've been at each other for so long, I mean, it's kind of a Nixon to China thing. I have the credentials. There was nobody who was harder on Trump or more prescient about the fact that he wasn't going to leave office voluntarily than I was. I feel like I have the credentials. But they also respect me, because I'm honest about the woke train to crazy town. And I don't shrink from that, and I've also lost a lot of fans for that. The woke people have left the building, and I'm willing to make that sacrifice. But it does give you a certain credibility.
So there's Bill Maher talking to Chris Cuomo about the meeting at the White House with Donald Trump. And it's been very interesting to listen to both of them be like, well, I guess I'll give it a try and see what can happen. And they're talking about using this as an opportunity to potentially move towards healing. Let's talk to our friend Joe Concha about it, Fox News contributor and author. His new book coming out very soon, The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big, Beautiful Campaign. Joe, welcome back. Good to have you here.
Happy Monday. How are you, Annie?
Happy Monday. Doing well. Weather is nice here. Baseball is back in session, so I got to say,
yeah,
it's been good so far. Do you buy into this the genuine nature of the Bill Maher Donald Trump get together?
Yeah, I really do. I think that Bill Maher. You probably play clips of Bill Maher every Monday, Annie. Right? I mean, he says something that goes completely against the grain. Things that you will never, ever hear on MSNBC or CNN outside of a guy named Scott Jennings. And he's been calling this out for a while, not when it became kind of politically cool to do so again, as far as he had Newsom on, as you just played, for example, this weekend. And I'm sorry, that was his conversation with Chris Cuomo, but he did have Gavin Newsom on this weekend. And he was basically like lecturing Newsom, like, why do you have a law that says that if a child wants to have a sex change or is using like different pronouns than their biological, birth chromosome, right? Why do you have a law that says parents shouldn't be notified about that? And Newsom hemmed and hawed and basically tried to explain the law as well. We just don't want to get teachers fired for snitching. Well, I'm pretty sure as a parent, you're going to snitch, all right, Mr. Teacher or Mrs. Teacher, because I want to know if my kid needs some mental health assistance, right? If they're considering, a sex change or using different pronouns. And that's the thing. Like, he's like, you're never going to win an election again as long as you keep supporting this stuff, or men playing against women in sports. So I think he's been doing it for a while. I think Trump, this is the ultimate troll. I mean, this is because it's going to drive the left crazy when you see those photos of Bill Maher and Donald Trump meeting in the Oval Office. I think he's smart to do it, just like he was smart to do it. Trump was when Joe Scarborough, and Mika Brzezinski, hat in hand, went down to Mar-a-Lago after all the horrible things that they have said about him and said, sure, you can kiss my ring. That's fine. And that's what Trump's doing here with Maher, not kissing the ring, but having a conversation. And that's what drives the left crazy, because they're incapable of doing it the other way. That's certainly for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. And just even in the campaign, it was very important to the left for people to not humanize Donald Trump. Like, you can't even give him the dignity of respect that a human, you have to degrade him to be subhuman. Otherwise, it's scary for the Democratic left. They're going to worry that people are going to maybe even consider the things that Donald Trump is offering the American people. And now we have some second-term receipts to go along with the first term on what Donald Trump is capable of doing. And I was reading about how Trump is doing this as a favor to Kid Rock. Kid Rock wanted to make this happen. I mean, how cool! This first time in my lifetime, in 40 years, I think, that I've really identified the Republican Party as being the cool party.
That's such a great observation. They are at this point. When you think about who's on the left, for example, that supports, say, Kamala Harris. Let's go back to her campaign, right? So she sits down on the Who's Your Daddy podcast, but then they pay like $100,000 to like remake the studio. Like, for what reason? Even the host was like, what's this about? Or they'll have Oprah, right? It was just still does that, positively annoying yelling thing. Here comes Kamala! You're like, oh, nobody thinks this is funny. And maybe 30 years ago in the 90s, you got me on that, but not now. And then you just go down the line. Like, you look at late night TV, and it's like, it used to be like, our guest tonight, George Clooney and Julia Roberts. Now it's like, we got Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg. It's like, where are the cool folks over there? And you're right, Kid Rock or Dana White or Joe Rogan, who was a Democrat forever, by the way. They lost him. Elon Musk, yeah, they're definitely the cool party right now, and they're no longer the stuffy country club Republicans. That's certainly for sure. And Donald Trump leads that charge, obviously, as being the cool one.
And he, like you said, regarding the Bill Maher sit down, that he's willing to sit down and listen. And the other side, they not only won't sit down and listen, if they don't like it, they go into a total fits and tantrums, vandalism. It's just the irony of ironies that the left is now vandalizing the electric vehicles that they really wanted to push on people. I don't think that that's attractive to anybody.
It's just, I do not understand why more Democrats, Andy, will not just come forward, right? They have social media, microphones, in their face all the time, and just say, this is wrong, this must stop. This is an American company that employs 125,000 people. And instead we have here in New York State, for example, one local state senator who is now trying to get Tesla dealerships closed down. And she says, well, it's just for competition. We want to get other, EV makers in here. And okay, so that's what the government is supposed to do now. Competition happens naturally, not because the government mandates it. But the violence thing, as far as it's not just like, hey, they're going to key a couple of Teslas here and there. Literally Molotov cocktails, firebombing, shots at Tesla dealerships. Somebody's going to get killed. And then that's probably going to be celebrated by the left because these are the same people that celebrated the CEO of United Healthcare being shot in the back, on a New York City street. And then this Luigi Mangione has raised something like $500,000 on a GoFundMe page. And you got idiots like Tim Miller saying, well, he is kind of hot. It's like we have lost all sense of shame and sanity at this point if we're celebrating Luigi Mangione and American companies being attacked. That I do know.
Yeah, that whole story has blown my mind. That was I keep thinking that we've pretty much seen it all, and then we see someone be like, well, he shot him in broad daylight, but I didn't really like what that guy did, so people are justifying it. It's a new low for us societally, I think. And I'm thinking about too when I'm looking at the left and I'm looking at what they cheer for, and I'm seeing the likes of failed vice presidential candidate Tim Walz on the stage just getting. It was a little too much of a fantasy moment to watch him look at his Tesla stock on the stock app thing on his Apple iPhone, and he's cheering for the degradation of this American company, and all for what? Like at the end of the day, if he gets his jollies off of looking at a stock price on his phone, when he closes that app on his phone, what happens next? I mean, is that just the hit that he needs in order to get through the rest of his day? Because that doesn't really seem, as somebody who is serving as a public servant in elected office, what's best for the people who he is supposed to be serving.
Ooh, I know what happens next. Then he looks at the Minnesota state pension, which has millions of dollars invested in ding, 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 Tesla. So when the stock falls, then the state pension loses money. This idiot doesn't realize that, or, I watch these rallies. I'm thinking, is there a 2-drink minimum? I mean, this is like stand-up at this point. It's not even funny. This guy's like the least cultured person at a bus station, Tim Walz. I still cannot get over that Kamala Harris chose him over Josh Shapiro. And now, he's going to run for president in 2028. I don't think he gets the nomination, but to cheer that stuff on. And then later, when he was finally confronted about it, he said, these people are so serious. They don't have a sense of humor. There's zero funny things about this. But, yeah, that's the thing. It's either make jokes about it or then AOC or Nancy Pelosi, when they were asked about it, basically run away from the microphones and don't just say, this is wrong, it shouldn't happen. You may disagree with Elon Musk, but that's the whole thing. I saw a poll, Annie, 77% of Americans agree with Doge's mission. So if you take Elon Musk out of it, just 77%. No one agrees on 77% of Americans can't agree on what time it is, let alone, it comes across like this in a poll. But then you look at Elon Musk's numbers, and he's like at favorability, 40%, 35%. It's like, well, how could that be? It would be like the, let's see, what are they called again? The Battle Hawks of St. Louis. Winning a championship this year and then saying, yeah, exactly. And then saying, if the coach sucks. Well, wait a minute. I don't get it. You like the team, but you don't like the mission, but you don't like the coach. That's like how it is with Elon Musk. They like the mission, but, he's been portrayed as like this Nazi. And I guess enough people buy it, which is ironic because he went to Auschwitz last year to denounce anti-Semitism. But no one bothers mentioning that.
Yeah, it's so upside down. It's hard to understand. But then if it makes no sense, it's hard to make sense of it, of course. Joe Concha, before we let you go, I think, is your book coming out in April? The Greatest Comeback Ever?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Finally, we're almost in April 29th. You can pre-order it now on Amazon or wherever you buy books. The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big, Beautiful Campaign, Unburdened by What Has Been. I don't know why I like reading it in the Cosell voice, but it just sounds Cosellian. And Cosell's in the book. So there you go.
Well, we will be making sure that we get a copy of that, Joe. We appreciate your time today. And things continue to look up, even though the Democrats are not really too happy about it. But the less happy they are about it, the bigger the fits, the more I think that we're over the target.
There you go. And congratulations to Amber Ruffin on getting fired from an unfireable position at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Great job. Well done.
The unfireable position. Thank you, Joe. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, the comedian who he's referring to, completely anti-Trump comedian. The White House Correspondents' Dinner, which is where it's kind of a roast of sorts. People get up there, they make jokes, and all the people in the press that are a part of the White House Correspondents Association get together and have a night. There's nothing wrong with doing that. People do that all the time in all different industries. But it's just essentially, if you question which way the media leans, and then you watch who they bring into this event, and you watch the kind of jokes that the people there find funny, they're always at the expense of the right. That's where Barack Obama or whoever it was, Key and Peele or whoever it was up there and was talking about maybe Donald Trump will run for president. People have commented that might have been the moment where Trump said, well, maybe I will. That very anti-Trumper comedian was hired and fired in a very succinct amount of time. They need to get Nate Bargatze up there. It would be so funny. I think he would do a bang-up job. I would totally watch Theo Vaughn up there. That would be mind-blowing. I don't even know. I don't even know how he would handle that, but I would be here for it for sure. Quick break. When we come back, Wiggins America, the Monday Roundup, those stories that you missed that you need to know, according to Ryan Wiggins, of course. That's next here on the Andy Fry Show.
Well, I don't know Latin.
What you know, Joe?
Ain't I having?
What you know, Joe?
I ain't fooling. I need schooling. I don't know. I don't know.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Well, I'm excited to be talking to you again about the Diamond Shop, just in time for you to be making some really smart moves for Mother's Day. Tomorrow starts April, which means Mother's Day is, maybe 6 weeks away. If you're looking for something incredibly special this year for Mother's Day, you might want to go to the Diamond Shop today, tomorrow, and start your shopping experience. 30% off all in-stock jewelry all month long, and that starts in April. But I think if you went there today and said, Annie said something about today, I think they'd honor that. 30% off all in-stock jewelry. They have VIP perks, and you can become a Diamond Shop VIP by going on to the website at thediamondshop.net to become a VIP. During the month of April, all VIPs will receive a free travel jewelry case with their purchase of $100 or more. Plus, Spring Fling during the month of April, 40% off all diamond in-stock jewelry to celebrate April's birthstone, which is mine. So go get yourself a diamond, and you can get you a diamond for my birthday. How does that sound? I think it's a great idea. If you're interested, go to their shop. It's located in Clayton. They're a wonderful family that have been running the Diamond Shop for quite some time, decades and decades. That's who we go to for our jewelry needs, and I encourage you to check them out as well. Learn more at thediamondshop.net.
Ouch! Checked from behind. Man, that's gotta hurt.
I'd hire Morgan & Morgan if I were them.
What?
Yeah, Dan, America's largest injury law firm. They serve up justice, ice, cold, law. Know what I mean?
I guess.
Their gloves come off when they fight for you.
Okay.
I'm talking a settlement slapshot.
Shouldn't we be talking about the game?
Yeah, Dan, Morgan & Morgan.
Proud partner of the St. Louis Blues. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, baseball fans, I want you to take a swing at making some entries on all your favorite players with Underdog Fantasy. Baseball is back, and you can make opening day and every other game more exciting with Underdog Fantasy. It's one of the leading sports apps, and you can play in Missouri now. If you'd like to win 1,000 times your money, who doesn't? You can with Underdog. To play, it's real easy. All you have to do is choose whether a player will go higher or lower on a stat line. So for baseball, it's home runs, hits, and more. You can do the NHL with goals and assists. You can do basketball as well. You can play with as little as $1. If you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money with Underdog Fantasy. So get started today, create an account, and use the promo code MARKR. MARKR. That unlocks a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus credits when you make your first deposit. Have some fun with Underdog Fantasy right now. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Would you support a third term for President Trump? That's a yes or a no question for our YouTube live chat poll of the day. Would you support a third term for President Trump? How you interpret that question is up to you. 12:43, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
97.1 FM Talk presents Talk in Action, where we shine a spotlight on local charities making a difference in our community. Join us as we give back and connect neighbors in need. Visit 971talk.com/talkinaction to learn more.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Money that's ready to burn, so get those stakes up higher. There's 1,000 pretty women waiting.
Playing this guitar so fast.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Oh, yeah. No, not that. Just the strumming. It's just.
Is
this
Elvis
hyped.
is playing it?
I don't know. Somebody is.
You know what it
play
reminds,
guitar.
You know what it reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of the Coconut Mall music from Mario Kart.
Generational.
Do you hear it? Do you hear it?
Ah, yes, Coconut Mall.
We just think of Elvis because that was our generation.
Yeah.
You're thinking Mario Kart.
I hate that I understand more of the Elvis than the Mario Kart references.
Wait, no one understands that?
I
Okay.
understand. But you
Can you get
reference
it
a
for us?
specific song in Mario Kart. That is a
From a
little beyond
specific
me.
Come on, like Coconut Mall is like the most popular Mario Kart racing track.
Duh.
Oh, okay.
Monday Roundup. Yeah! This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Mario Kart really did revolutionize gaming. I remember going to church lock-ins when I was 13, 14 years old and playing multiplayer Mario Kart for the SNES.
The best.
And it was like this, I think we've achieved nirvana. And we were also really into the band Nirvana at that time. So a lot of references.
Well, I think we've spanned about half a century there.
Let's talk sports this weekend to begin the Monday roundup. The St. Louis fans were very, very pleased this weekend. I was one of them. Lots of streaks, unbroken. First of all,
Yeah,
the
especially
Blues.
your streak.
Streaking?
It's in the paper.
Oh, that one. Now, when it comes to sports streaking,
He's wearing a Derek Cox for mayor.
for mayor, he's not even running for mayor, which is really
What is he running for?
I didn't even accomplish
Chair-
my goal.
County chair?
Yeah, county supervisor.
City supervisor?
County. Yeah.
That's why it was scandalous.
Yeah.
He had it for mayor. Derek's like, God dang it.
This naked idiot didn't even know who he was supporting for what. But yeah, I did go down onto the ice, so the Blues game completely nude.
What?
What were you saying?
I heard it was at the Cardinals game.
No, you got to do ice if you're really brave.
Yeah. That sounds terrible.
So the
He
Blues
was
are
running across the
gutsy.
field there just holding a pineapple.
Just trying to send a message. The Blues have won 9 straight.
Woo!
9 straight games, amazingly, and they are knocking on the door of their all-time franchise record now of 11 games, which came in what year?
2019.
2019. And I actually asked Ethan to look up what the all-time NHL longest win streak was right before coming in here, and you found it was
17 games in 1992-93, the Pittsburgh Penguins.
17 games is a streak?
is the longest NHL record streak ever.
What's
halfway there.
What's the longest distance you've ever streaked?
I would say the length of like the blue line down to the goalie, down to the red line.
You didn't mean to
on
go that
ice,
far,
that's
but you
pretty
just started
impressive.
a slide.
How
Yeah.
much of that was running?
Very little. I fell down hard and I slid the rest of the way.
On your face or on your back?
Face first.
Oh. You slid
Yeah.
nude on the ice?
Yeah.
Face first?
That poor audience.
And the Derek Cox for mayor was on my chest, so nobody even saw it. I just fell straight down.
They saw something else.
If Derek Cox hears about this,
I
I don't know that he's going to be real happy.
He's a good guy. You should support him.
Yeah, let's
Better than Ryan does, at least. You should go vote for him because of what Ryan's done to him.
You can't say I didn't try though. I mean, I got arrested by the Blues Police. The shovel kids came out and beat me with their shovels.
Oh,
My
no.
bare butt. I know.
Wow, that's terrible.
I know. 88% chance now that the Blues make the playoffs. That is almost equal to Minnesota at this point.
It was a 7% chance a little over a month ago, just for context.
7% chance a month ago.
Yes.
What is it now?
Amazing.
88.
88% chance. They just keep winning. So that's looking good. The Cardinals, surprisingly, have not lost a game yet.
Not surprisingly, everybody knew this was going to happen.
Did you not have faith?
I went to the game
Brethren?
yesterday. And
how was it?
It was a blast. It was a really good time, other than the fact that there was a rain delay. But we were, we had free food and stuff, so we just kind of ate our way through the rain delay. Had a great time.
Free or included?
Included. It was a party.
That's isn't it always?
Always at a Cardinals game. But when the cookies flow like wine, you just keep eating.
Those cookies are so good.
I know.
They're dangerous.
Those little triangle brownies. So we had all the food we could eat, and that was really the best part of the day. The second best part was the Cardinals win.
Many treats did you eat?
It was over 3.5 hours, so 7.
What?
Honestly, that's not that bad for 3.5 hours in a Cardinals game.
I paced it with some protein, too, and some salad.
What,
Thank
some
you.
hot
Did you get some
dogs?
nachos?
No.
You just held a plate of salad. You just held it.
Held it.
That's what I do with beer.
I believe it. So nobody asks you if you need another one.
And I start drinking. I'm like, man, that tastes good, but I really don't want any more than about a third of it.
Did the salad make it onto the field with you when you streaked?
No, but they did, and I did streak there too. Thank you. They did
that third of
cut
the beer?
off the food at about 2:45.
Did you protest?
So we decided that instead of wasting the food, we would throw it out into the crowd like Fred Bird slings T-shirts.
Look at you taking care of the people.
And we said support
all the
Bearcocks.
30,000 people there.
So all that was to say it was a fun sports weekend. Although the NCAA bracket, I don't know about anybody else, I thought it's been incredibly boring.
Terrible
tournament.
Awful.
Okay, thank you, because I
am
feel the
upset.
same way.
Seems pretty good to me.
All number one seeds. It's just the favorites win every game, and they're not even really close games.
No.
It's just been a boring tournament. Is this a product of the portal thing? Is this the way it's going to be from now on?
I hate the portal.
I am nervous to say that it is. I want to see what next year looks like, because this is really the first year where it's been this intense. So if it's like this again next year, then I think there's no doubt that it is. I'm more concerned this year that it might be.
Is that the name, image, likeness stuff?
Yes.
Can the NCAA just change the rules if they want to, though? Or is there congressional approval and stuff that has to go into?
In a little over a week, they're going to be coming out with a ruling, I guess, regulating NIL to a certain extent. We just don't know what it's going to be.
Okay.
It's supposed to be, I think, April 8th.
So they're going to do something.
Yes.
We just don't know what it is. All right. Thank you. All right. Next story. What to know about Hard Rock Cafe's closure in Chicago. One of their iconic stores in Chicago is closing after 40 years in business. The spot was one of the chain's oldest locations and a decades-old fixture in Chicago's River North neighborhood, best known for its giant neon guitar illuminating the streets surrounding it. The problem is that, A, Hard Rock won't say why they closed the store. So if it was business, you'd just say, well, they say it wasn't doing enough business. Don't know why. And then second, that leaves only one Hard Rock Cafe in all of Illinois now, and it's in Rockford. So they don't even have one in Southern Illinois or in Chicago.
Where would you put it in Southern Illinois?
I'm just saying, if it was on the Metro East Side.
Huh?
If it was in the Metro East Side.
That
would be the only place.
Which of the suburbs are really hard rock?
Freeburg.
Yeah. I was going to say Freeburg, but...
Jerseyville kind of gives me those vibes.
But Brad already said it. So the Hard Rock Cafe that was planned for Freeburg, I guess, never materialized.
No.
But there are none in Chicago now, only one in Rockford. What are your thoughts about Hard Rock Cafe in general, just before I move on? Fan?
Used to have one here, didn't we?
Wasn't
I
it
think we
at
still
Union
have
Station?
one in Union Station.
Oh, it's still there?
No, they don't.
Did it just close?
I think
I've
closed
been
a long
within
time
the-
ago.
Closed a long time ago.
Oh,
Mr.
it
St.
became
Louis.
a different. It's still a restaurant. It's just
Here
not
we
that
go.
restaurant.
Here
That's
we
right.
go.
That's
He goes,
right.
did it just happen? And you,
Well, I
you
remember
just
where
said-
it
saw
was.
it.
He goes,
I
he
saw
goes,
it. I just didn't-
No.
He
I didn't
goes,
read it.
it became a different restaurant. The Hard Rock Cafe is gone.
Yes, it is.
Gone
It's
for a
the
long
soda
time.
fountain now, I believe.
That's right.
Which is not affiliated with the Hard Rock
And
Cafe.
the last time I went there, it was the soda fountain, and I the whole time I was thinking, oh, it's Hard Rock Cafe.
It couldn't be. It's like Candyland in there. It couldn't be less like the Hard Rock Cafe.
Hard Rock Cafe closed In August of 2018.
Oh my
2018.
That was
Just like
7 years
That's
ago.
before you were on this show. You've spent the entirety of your time on the Annie Fry Show,
I was
and the
in
Hard
high
Rock
school.
Cafe was gone. Yes.
And you know what? Every day I come in and I think about that.
Every day.
Every day I come in and I go, thank God we still have a Hard Rock Cafe here.
I'm sorry to
So
crush your dreams.
Gosh.
Probably brutal right now for you.
This has been really tough. It was a tough weekend. Arrested twice for streaking.
You'd think you'd learn the first time.
You'd think. You'd think they'd learn not to let me out. I told them I was going to do it again. Next one is
I
RFK
hope somebody
Jr.
takes this seriously.
has announced that states can ban sugary soda from their food stamp program.
I really want to see Illinois' advocacy as to why this is not right.
It puts states in a weird position, doesn't it?
And J.B. Pritzker is going to be like, what does it matter if it's unhealthy?
Well, hasn't up until now it been kind of a more of a leftist thing to use the government to make people more healthy, and now
No. That's what they said. It was to make other people more wealthy.
They sound kind of similar.
It does.
So that's where that comes into play.
It does sound similar. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
It's like one letter. Quote, the message that I want to give to the country today and to all the other governors is to get in line behind Governor Morrissey and apply for a waiver to my agency. And we're going to give it to you. That's how we're going to win this, Mr. Kennedy said. He's talking about the governor of West Virginia, who is already applying for these waivers to ban things from the SNAP program. And Morrissey is in line. The only question I have here is we kind of are focused on soda. You know, there's a lot of things that are not healthy for you, so I'm not sure why we're starting with soda.
Because it's completely worthless.
But it is completely worthless.
Diet soda is not good for you. It may be worse for you. I don't know. You don't need it.
No, you definitely don't need soda. And that's the argument, is that you're starting with soda. There probably are more things to come, but at least you start somewhere.
There have been studies that are showing how big soda worked to make sure that they were included in the SNAP program.
Mm-hmm.
Like what percentage of soda economy actually comes from government provided benefits?
Yeah, and it was pretty high, the studies that I saw. One more here. Morgan Wallen. Anybody watch Saturday Night Live this weekend or see the clips? Morgan Wallen is sparked a controversy and a backlash when he walked off the stage at the end of the show. Yes, at the end of the show.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Go on, keep reporting. We
All
care
right, all
deeply.
right. Morgan Wallen.
We have to break.
Well, okay.
We'll be right back.
All right.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate, paid for by Bayer.
If you've tried and failed every ED treatment, there's another fix that could work for you. It's same-day surgery, it's minimally invasive, and is performed by South County urological physicians. Hundreds of men have come to us for this outpatient procedure that has a satisfaction rate over 90%. Interested? Call South County Urological, 314-843-8000. We have the fix when pills and devices no longer work. 314-843-8000 or southcountyurological.com.
We are here another year, 2025, and time to be planning and scheduling your air conditioning startups to make sure you're getting ready to go this summer and got nice, proper cooling and no worries on if your air conditioner is going to make it through the summer. So give us a call. Early bird gets the worm. This is one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest of numbers, and that number is 314-293-2600. Again, if this is a little early for you, save this number in your phone then in case you do need me or you do forget to have your system checked, and it does break down on you this summer. That number, save it, is 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B. Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter. They're the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. Call 314-499-2020. That's 499-2020 or GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com. That's GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com.
Setting goals for your retirement is one thing, but knowing how to achieve those goals is another.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different.
For tips on building a better nest egg, listen to the All Financial Hour with Steve All, Saturday mornings at 6, here on 97.1 FM Talk.
You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
What reciprocal means. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The White House says any country that has treated Americans unfairly should expect a tariff in return on Wednesday, when the president is set to roll out a new reciprocal tariff policy.
He is going to end the decades of unfair trade practices that have been ripping off American workers. It has hollowed out our middle class. It has turned the American heartland into an American wasteland where jobs have gone overseas.
White House spokeswoman Caroline Lovett telling Fox News the president wants U.S. industry to thrive, not just survive. The president has suggested he may charge other countries less than what some have charged for U.S. goods. Auto tariffs also expected to begin this week.
These tariffs will mean it not only costs more to buy a car, but also to repair a car if something breaks. The president has also threatened a 10% tariff on Venezuelan and Canadian oil.
New Jersey Democratic Congressman Josh Gottheimer says that will raise gas prices. The White House says Trump energy policies and regulation rollbacks will help to lower the cost of living. Spokeswoman Caroline Levitt is telling reporters steps have been taken to ensure what happened with a group chat leak won't happen again, and that the White House considers that case closed. At least one Senate panel plans a bipartisan investigation of how a reporter was inadvertently added to a chat about airstrike plans. A race for state Supreme Court in Wisconsin getting national attention.
County judges Susan Crawford and Brad Schimmel will face off tomorrow to fill a 10-year term on the court, determining whether liberals maintain their 4-3 majority. Now, this race is nonpartisan, but Schimmel, the state's former Republican attorney general, has received both Elon Musk's backing and the endorsement of President Trump, saying on Fox News Sunday he's not running for the president, but simply to uphold the law.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff. Musk has spent millions on that race, holding a town hall in Wisconsin last night. America is listening to Fox News.
Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts will take the world by storm.
The world has never faced a threat this big. And you're gonna help me stop it.
Us?
Why, you got someplace to be?
On May 2nd,
Avengers are gone. No one's coming to save the day.
their time
I think we could be the people that are coming.
has come.
Being the hero, there is no higher calling.
Let's do this.
Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts. Only in theaters May 2nd. This film is not yet rated.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. If you have a 2004 or newer vehicle that's out of warranty or about to be, Endurance is urgently notifying U.S. drivers about their low-cost vehicle coverage plan designed to save drivers thousands on rising vehicle repair costs. Those who qualify can pick their plan, coverage, and repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental cars included. All covered repairs get paid directly to the repair shop for you. Call now for your free quote. Call 800-298-9383. 800-298-9383.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
A chill in the air on this Monday afternoon thanks to the northwest flow. More and more sun appearing. 55 for the high. You're caught in that wind. It's going to feel a little bit colder. Partly to mostly clear skies tonight. Have to call it cold, though the winds will be fading. 35. Tuesday, partly sunny, 59. A growing concern about some strong to severe thunderstorms Wednesday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Just a reminder that you should eat great steak more often. And if you have a hard time getting great steak, well, just go to Andrea's, or you could have it an event catered. I don't mention their catering very often, but we actually use their catering pretty often, actually. Their carved filet is so impressive that if you're looking to do something that's really going to make everybody wow, oh my gosh, that catering was amazing. Get a carved filet catered for your next event. It's really easy to find. Andreas.com/catering. You can see their menu there too. You can see all of the great steaks that I talk about on their menu. It's not a huge menu. They have specials every month, but mainly what they serve is steak, and they are known for it. Best steak in the St. Louis area. So if you are a steak person, if you're a steak connoisseur even, and you've never had Andrea's, first of all, I'd be surprised. They've been around since 1978. But if you haven't, or it's been a while, you need to visit Andrea's. Go to Andreas.com. Go to the restaurant as well. It's in Fairview Heights, O'Fallon, Illinois. Get their sauce at area grocery stores, or again, all of this that I'm saying right now is at Andreas.com.
Could you make $500,000 in retirement savings feel like $1 million? Or $1 million feel like $2 million? The key is having a comprehensive financial plan for taxes, Social Security, inflation, healthcare, income, and more. Discover how you could make money go a lot further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class, Retirement Planning 101. Guys, it's Dave Glover from KMOX. This one-night class is taught by a fiduciary advisor from financial and tax architects with decades of financial planning experience. They're held at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. There's no cost. Just bring 3 canned goods for the St. Louis Crisis Nursery. If you've saved $300,000 or more for retirement, register by calling 314-350-8110. 314-350-8110. If, like me, you haven't quite had the pedal to the metal the way you should, or if you've had the pedal to the metal the entire time, either way, give us a call. We can help you out. We'll take you wherever you are. 314-350-8110. 314-350-8110 for financial and tax architects.
Who has the most 5-star reviews in St. Louis? Is the Post-Dispatch Window Retailer of the Year, J.D. Power Award winner 5 years in a row, and has the nation's best warranty coverage? Renewal by Anderson. That's who. Find out about our huge 31-day sale at rbastl.com or call 314-332-1924. rbastl.com or 314-332-1924. Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window.
If you're the victim of a car accident or suffered a work injury in St. Louis, you want attorneys who live here and work here to handle your case. You want someone who knows St. Louis and is about St. Louis. You want Kaufman Townsley. Call 314-500-5000.
There's still time to join us for a fish fry, so if you haven't yet, we'll be at St. Mary Magdalene Church in Brentwood this week. If that's your area, stop by and say hi. The whole gang will be there from the show. It's the Mark Reardon Show's Fish Fry Fridays, continuing this week in Brentwood.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
You know, with the deficit, with the debt, we have got to start getting control over spending, and President Trump's got that as a top priority too. So making sure that we get the savings as well as going to current policy as baseline allows you to go to permanency instead of 10-year renewal. And then you get an even bigger bounce. 10-year renewal would be great. A permanent tax code would be even better.
Well, Steve Scalise talking about the permanency of the tax code. And if we know anything about Steve Moore, our friend, it's that he wants to see those Trump tax cuts be made permanent. Steve Moore joins us once again, Distinguished Fellow in Economics at the Heritage Foundation, also a Trump economic advisor, and his book, The Trump Economic Miracle and the Plan to Unleash Prosperity Again. Steve, welcome back. Always good to have you here.
Hi, Annie. Great to be with you, too. Thank you.
Of course. You've been lobbying hard to make sure that those tax cuts are made permanent, and I assume that you're not wanting to wait until what would it be, the end of September or whatever, when that bill has been pushed to. What's the status right now in Congress on the Trump tax cuts?
Well, that's the problem, is that unfortunately, the president hasn't been talking a lot about it for the last month because he's been talking about tariffs, and I think he's been off message. And then you've got, the House passed this bill back about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and the Senate's just been dawdling. And there should be a sense of urgency here because, again, I say it each week on your show, I will say it once more, that if we don't get this done before the end of the year, then we're facing a $4 trillion tax increase, and the average family in St. Louis area would be paying about $2,000 to $3,000 more in taxes. So, and every small business would pay more taxes. It would be a horrendous situation. So we got to get this done. I think Wall Street wants to get it done quickly. I think Americans want to make sure that they're not facing a giant tax cliff next year. So I want Trump to get out there and sell the plan, sell it and demand, crack the whip with these senators, get them on board so we can get this done as quickly as possible.
So that you're saying with the senators, is the hang up right now getting the Senate to pass this bill?
Well, so that passed the House, as I said, 3 or 4 weeks ago. Now it ping-pongs over to the Senate, and the Senate just hasn't done anything. They're not, as I said, they're kind of whistling Dixie and taking their time to get it done when urgency is important, partly also because the economy is a little fragile right now. The stock market's been on a big sell-off, so we could use some growth stimulants right now, some steroids, and what better to do than to assure all the investors and all the families that their taxes won't go up next year. And then we have the additional stuff like the no tax on tips, the 15% tax rate Trump is talking about for American businesses, the no tax on Social Security. All those things would help the economy a lot as well.
I'm looking right now just at the Fox Business homepage, Steve Moore speaking with us right now, and it looks like 45% of the headlines are on tariffs, 45% of the headlines are on DOGE and cutting, and then there's a couple other, headline news-based items there. Do you think that the DOGE part of the equation has been a good story on the whole for the Trump administration and ultimately for the American economy?
Well, also, if you go to the Fox website, you'll see the new ad that we're running around the country on the tax bill and telling Congress get this thing done as quickly as possible. But DOGE, I want to make sure that all of your listeners, I want them to go after your show is over. I want them to go online and go to the YouTube and take a look at those two amazing interviews that Brett Baier did with the DOGE team. Yes. I don't know if you've seen those, Annie, but they are amazing. And the idea that these people are being treated, like Elon Musk and his associates are being treated like they're villains. This is one of the most patriotic missions. None of them are getting paid anything. These are people who are taking their own time, their own money, their own resources to investigate where the waste is in government. The stories that they're telling about the fact we're still using computers in the federal government that were built in the 80s, 40 years old. I mean, it's crazy. The average college student has a better computer than the federal government does. It's just, you see, we're spending $10 billion on rent on empty office buildings. We have thousands of people over the age of 120 that are still getting Social Security checks. We have, we spent $500 million on foreign aid. We don't even know where the money went. It went to these NGOs. We don't know what they did with the money. I mean, I could go on and on and on. And this should infuriate voters. We should demand action on this. And, how is it that Elon Musk is like treated like a victim, like he's a
villain,
scoundrel when he's doing all this for the country?
It's outrageous, and you just see the emotional reaction from the fringe left. It doesn't have a lot of, it seems like, actual thought process in the reaction that they have towards DOGE. Last question.
Well, they say, oh well, he wasn't elected to do anything. Well, it's true. He's not elected. He's just doing this as a citizen of our country. This is his patriotic duty. And this is a guy who's busy. He has SpaceX, he has Tesla, he runs 5 companies. He's, I don't know how he has the hours in the day to do this. And he's telling us, hey, the government is ripping you off. They're stealing your money. And the fraudsters and the corruption and the incompetence and and now it's the example I use is like saying, oh, Al Capone wasn't the problem. It was Elliot Ness for, discovering that he was doing all this criminal activity. Why is the whistleblower here the villain?
I think because people care more about politics than the actual outcome.
They do.
Unfortunately.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so sick, by the way, not to go off too much on this, but every time you listen to a Democrat, Chuck Schumer or AOC or Elizabeth Warren, all these Democrats, they're asked about, what do you think about Doge? Oh, well, of course, we're all concerned about waste, but da-da-da-da. Well, the truth is they aren't concerned about waste. They could care less about the waste. And then the question is why? Why are they allowing this waste and fraud and criminal activity to happen? And I think I know what the answer is. You know what it is?
Tell me. What, Steve?
I think that this is how these guys get rich.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And I think
they're
he's the one who's going to root it out. Yeah. Elon.
They're in on it.
Elon's going to find out.
The Sheldon Whitehouse, who, he's so sanctimonious. He's so holier than thou. And he got a $10 million grant, and $2.5 million found $2.5 million of that money found their way in his wife's bank account. That's just a criminal, graft.
Yeah, it is. And when we find that out and that money train stops, you can see why some people would start to flay a little bit. Steve, thank you. We know your time is precious, and we're always grateful that you share a bit of it with us here on the Andy Fry Show.
Okay. Thanks, Andy. Have a great week.
You as well. Take care. Bye-bye. I mean, I got somebody put on the Illinois Rising Facebook page today. They're like, did Annie really say on her show that there weren't any crimes committed with all the Doge cuts and everything? They said they didn't hear me say it. I guess they heard someone say that I had said that. And the only thing I could think of that we talked about was last week when we said that if the one thing that you're waiting for out of this Trump administration, because we were talking about Pam Bondi, was the perp walk, the handcuffs, the orange jumpsuit, you might not get that. You might not get the visual of the criminal perp walk after charges might be filed here. And I also think that there's going to be a lot of this that is going to be greatly unethical, released to show how all of these things happen, but maybe not illegal. But the idea that there is fraud and criminal behavior going on, that's what Elon Musk is getting to the bottom of it. And will we see some of that? I think we will. But right now, it's almost like fact-finding mission right now, the action to what's going on with Doge. We need to find everything out. We need to get everything out and spread it out on the table so we can see what we're actually dealing with. And have you noticed that when Elon Musk is answering questions or anybody with Doge is answering questions, that while they get asked about something in particular, they tell you about like 5 other things that they found in search of an answer for problem A. Now they have identified problem B, C, D, and E, and it just never ends.
Yeah, I think in that conversation, we were talking about how some people just want the image of the perp walk. There can be a lot of illegal stuff that's been going on with a lot of names that we don't know. So there could be a lot of arrests, and none of the people that you're suspecting do the orange jumpsuit thing.
There's the people at the top, the faces and the names that we know, they're smart enough to not have their hands dirty.
And they've been running government. And so the problem with the people, if you're a criminal running government, well, how do you decide whether something's illegal? Well, the government decides that. So if they've made up rules for basically figured out how to money launder and gotten around the rules, they've probably made those things legal in the process. So some of the illegality they can't get around, but some of the ways they've found to get around things are because they were the ones writing the laws. So the question of illegality becomes very, very weird when you're talking about elected officials.
I think if there's if there's an opportunity for Donald Trump to perp walk Hillary Clinton, he's not going to pass up on that opportunity.
No, absolutely not.
But
they tried to do that to him.
Yes, exactly. And I like going back to that particular comparison. The left wanted to see a Donald Trump perp walk. They got a version of it, but in an image. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, they didn't have Donald Trump's head being lowered into a police vehicle with his hands cuffed behind his back. They'd have killed to have that. They mistook the value of a Trump mugshot. They got the mugshot. You remember before the mugshot, everyone was like, there's not going to be a mugshot. There's not going to be this. There's not going to be that. I remember hearing people say, and I never really thought of it this way, but the point of a mugshot is to make sure that everybody can be aware of the face of this person so that in the future you've identified the specific person who's charged. If they end up being convicted, then this person's face out there. You don't need that with Donald Trump. Everybody in the world knows who Donald Trump is. So you don't really need the mugshot, but they wanted the mugshot because of the value of that. And so I understand on the flip side why Republicans would want to see that as well. I just see the people who we may potentially see experience that are not going to be the people who in one image people are going to see and everybody's going to know who that person is, and it's going to speak a huge political message.
Yes.
You'd have to know some of the details. You know, we're talking about the people at the very tippy top of all of these types of instances. Devin Archer, who was Hunter Biden's business partner, has been granted a pardon. It's a pardon. It's not clemency, correct?
As far as I know.
I think it's a pardon from Donald Trump. And he's been talking about what it's like to work with the Biden
how
family.
involved was Joe Biden in the Hunter business?
Well, Joe Biden was, he was the brand that we were selling. I think that was, it was a term that came to me looking into Jim Jordan's eyes in the congressional testimony. He rolled his sleeves up even higher when I said that. So that was the brand. That was the access. That was what we did to, to find additional sources of capital or deal flow. So we were selling the Biden brand. I mean, I would say, at the end of a business meeting, keep it at 20 so I don't perjure myself on the Fox News network. But Joe would end a meeting and say, you do a favor for me, you're my friend. You do a favor for my son, you're a friend for life.
Is that, can you charge him with a crime for saying something like that? Like, what is the weight of those words?
It's significant. I mean, the weight of those words is a lot. It's just a matter of what is the actual crime. Because what we're seeing now, the shocking thing to me is not that we're seeing behind closed doors and realizing that very, very powerful people were misusing their power for money and for backdoor influence across whatever, just to enrich themselves and make their lives better at the expense of everybody else. What's shocking to me is that there have been movies made about this and stories made about this for hundreds of years, that politicians are dirty, and that we finally start to see it and people start to protect. There's a portion of our population that want to protect the politicians. I never thought we'd see that. And that's what's shocking to me.
We said at the beginning of the show that if we got to 300 votes by our 2 o'clock hour, so we still got about 40 minutes, a little over 40 minutes left by the time we open the mics in the 2 o'clock hour. If we get 300 votes in our YouTube poll today, that we'll take questions on it, but through your phone calls. The poll question is, would you support a third term for president, yes or no? I played earlier the clip from Air Force One where Trump is asked repeatedly by a reporter. He's like, I don't really want to talk about that. And some would say this is my third term. He doesn't say, no, I'm not running for a third term. He doesn't give them that. And that is a very calculated response on his part. But if he gives a 3-minute response to that question, 20 seconds of it is dedicated to saying, well, I'm not really wanting to get into that. And then he explains why maybe this is his third term. And then he starts talking about things that he has done that is successful, or he starts trashing what the Biden administration did to him and so on and so forth. And the rest of the 3 minutes is him doing what he does, which is talking about whatever he gosh darn pleases. So if we get to 300 votes, and we're at 228 right now, so this is well within range, we will take some of your phone calls in the 2 o'clock hour on the question, would you support a third term for President Trump? Here is Tim said, do I think he would do a good job? Yes. Should he run? No. Let's pay attention to the Constitution and don't let him bring it up. People asking if he would is just trying to start crap. That is a very well thought out response. Quick Rick said no, although the need for a consistently applied course for the country would be beneficial. We can't turn the nation around in 4 years. And Steven said, I voted no. If Trump could run for a third, I feel it would go against every principle of change that we are pushing for now. I still support President Trump all of the way, lifelong Republican. So get on the Annie Fry YouTube channel right now, youtube.com/@AnnieFry, and vote in our poll. We're up to 234 votes right now. And I'm going to tell you what, it's closer than I thought it would be. So you need to let us know. Do you think that's good or bad? There's nothing that the lefties would want more than to see this go 90%. Yeah, I'd support a Trump third term. So we'll see what the people of the Annie Fry Show listening right now think by calculating their votes there on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Let's take a quick break. If we get to 300 votes on the poll, we'll take some phone calls in the 2 o'clock hour. Might make that a thing now from now on. actively participate in the poll, and maybe we'll go to some phone calls. When we come back, Will Chamberlain is going to be with us. Of course, he is the senior counsel to the Article 3 project, and he's going to talk to us about Congress's efforts to limit the district judges that are using their positions to be activists against Donald Trump's agenda. Will Chamberlain next on The Annie Frey Show.
This is The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Frey Show.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is online at igotfloored.com. Your flooring needs are met very, very quickly and thoroughly when you shop at Michael's Flooring Outlet. A family-owned and operated business for over 30 years in the St. Louis area, understands how to cater to you, to listen to you and the things that you need. If you're shopping for carpet, they might show you a whole bunch of different options, which would include the Mohawk Smart Strand line that has a superior performance for you. They understand that the money that you're going to spend on this flooring for your home, or maybe just your place of business, is an investment that you're making with the hard-earned dollar. They respect that. They care for it. They know what it's like personally to have to manage all of those things because they're doing that with their family-owned and operated business at Michael's. Reach out to them and see how they can help you. It all starts at igotfloored.com. You can read reviews from people who have shopped there. You can request an estimate. You can check out all of their products. It's a very, very helpful website. Help guide you on this process of buying flooring. And then visit them in one of their 3 locations. All starts online at igotfloored.com.
If you're a homeowner, it's time to upgrade your windows with Window World. Mark Cox here. I am a satisfied customer. I love the windows they put in my house, and there's a reason they're ranked number 1 in the number of windows sold in this country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. They have that lifetime warranty. It covers all the parts, the glass breakage, the labor. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And in over 20 years in business, they have improved the look and the thermal efficiency of over 76,000 customers in the greater St. Louis area. Window World is now offering 36 months, same as cash financing, with approved credit. And I think the customer service sets them apart from the rest of their competition. And they have an excellent track record with the Better Business Bureau. They've also raised a lot of money, over $3 million for local and national charities. So be sure and check them out. Call them at 314-993-1800. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. You can also go to windowworld.com.
And a lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, I'm usually much more active, but since I've been in pain, I've had to limit the activities I'm doing.
You're listening to Janelle, an arch support specialist at the Good Feet store.
So he came in and he wanted to be able to keep up, play sports with his kids. And from there, we figure out which arch supports complement those activities. I fit him with the arch supports, and as I followed up with him, he's messaged me and said, I took my kids to the park today. We're walking, we're exercising, riding the bikes, and those are all things that he wasn't doing before because he was in pain.
For over 25 years, the Good Feet store's arch support specialists have been helping folks to live the life they love without foot, knee, hip, or back pain getting in the way.
Our goal is to have that long-term change for them. That's what's most important, is knowing that you leave an impact on someone's life. And I like that.
Try them for yourself. Stop in for a free personalized fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Jane Duke, the governor has to pick 5 other members, and do they have to be confirmed by the Board of Aldermen?
There will be 4 citizen members, have to be, St. Louis City citizens, and they have to be confirmed by the Missouri Senate.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. This is The Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Senate. There are a couple of different ideas. Explain them clearly to the people watching tonight, because they think, well, you can't stop a court. A court wants to rule. All right, why isn't that okay?
one of the best things we could do is pass legislation that I introduced day before yesterday that would limit the jurisdiction of the courts, making it so that a single district judge can't issue an injunction against the U.S. government with nationwide applicability on a major matter of presidential policy. It needs to be going through a 3-judge district court with an automatic direct appeal to the Supreme Court of the United States. It'd make it very difficult to judge shop, and it would make it so we get a final resolution from the Supreme Court.
Would this
quickly.
be a rotating panel
Yes.
of district court judges?
Rotating panel of district court judges selected by the Chief Justice at random from available district judges around the country. That way you can't go into this. If you're an NGO, if you're one of these liberal activist groups, you can't just judge shop and know that if you file in a certain district, odds are pretty good you're going to get a lefty.
Senator Lee, they're talking about judge shopping. We're hearing a lot of this right now about the pushback against Donald Trump. And I'm scratching my head going, how is it that you can just kind of set up this house of cards to try to push back against something if you don't have the legislative power in Congress because you're in the minority in the House and in the Senate? How can you use the judiciary in this fashion in order to push back against Donald Trump when it seems to be very politically motivated? Well, since I'm not a legal expert and don't pretend to be one at all, Will Chamberlain's back with us, and we're really grateful for his expertise, of course. Senior counsel at the Article 3 Project on X at Will Chamberlain. Will, welcome back. It's always good to have you here.
Good to be with you, Annie.
So can you talk to me a little bit about what judge shopping is, how the left is using this as a way to push back against Trump?
Well, I mean, it's something both sides have used in the past. Obviously, the left is using it more now because they're trying to stop the administration. But the basic idea is that there are a lot of judicial districts in this country, and some of them have more liberal judges and more conservative judges. Some of them are small enough that they only have one judge. So if you file a lawsuit in that courthouse, you know basically who your judge is going to be. So that, opens up a possibility, especially when you're filing a case and you're seeking a nationwide injunction. Well, you want to go find a judge that is most likely to agree with you. So if you're a liberal, that means going to a hard left district where you're confident that you know the judge and you know that they'll go along with you. That's judge shopping.
So when Senator Mike Lee is looking to push back against this, I mean, I assume there are some avenues that can be used. I heard on, I think it was Outnumbered, or it was Harris Faulkner's show earlier today, an expert talking about how a lot of what is done in Washington is creating the system to be so burdensome that people are afraid to even engage in things that would be transformative to how, things work. I think we call that the swamp. And when things become so burdensome and so scary because, the legal battle is going to be enormous, then what ends up happening is you kind of scrap things before they even start. Is that part of the factor of what the swamp has been doing, at least pre-Donald Trump 2.0?
Yeah, I mean, they want to demoralize people who actually want to change the system, certainly. And there are all sorts of entrenched interest groups who also want to demoralize the administration and don't want to let the administration do anything that might hurt them in any way. So you're going to get lawsuits. I think generally in the past, we haven't had administrations who are devoted or really aggressively trying to fight through that, who are happy to be in power or otherwise willing to focus on things where they won't face as much judicial pushback. But that's not the current Trump administration. Clearly, the Trump administration is willing to pick all these battles and is planning to fight them as long as they need to. And truly, in some cases, if needed, potentially even disregard courts that are infringing on the president's core Article 2 powers. Hopefully, though, that won't be necessary. And I think what this is doing, though, is really highlighting, obviously, the problem with the system where a single district judge can impose an injunction that binds the administration throughout the entire country. And it creates this judge shopping dynamic and the ability of 160 some judges each to have an individual veto on the administration's policy. That's not the way our system is supposed to work. And so, I mean, the Mike Lee's suggestion, I think, is a good one, where it just ends judge shopping and ensures that a 3-judge panel has to agree that an injunction would be necessary. I've heard of other solutions that also could be interesting, limiting the effect of a nationwide injunction just to the district in which that judge is ruling, prohibiting them from going beyond the parties to that case, and in some cases restructuring our courts to strip them of jurisdiction over particular issues, so that where the politics of it is kind of determining how the judges rule. So all those are good ideas, and I think I just hope Congress is able to push some of them forward.
Yeah, I think that's the question mark, of course, is that if Congress would be willing to come together for this. Do you feel as though I was just thinking, it was this morning or something, about how a lot of this has gone. There have been comments made by the Supreme Court justice, the Chief Justice, that have some Trump people scratching their heads. We've seen Amy Coney Barrett not rule in the way that I think Donald Trump would have preferred that she ruled. There's no possibility that the Republicans start talking about expanding the court right now, is there?
I mean, there's an interesting option to say that, we need to have a constitutional amendment that fixes the number of judges on the court at 9. And then if the Democrats won't agree to pass it, then we're going to pack the court ourselves.
I like that. That's kind of interesting.
Like, it's like one or the other. Like, you either agree that this isn't just going to be a norm anymore. This is going to be a permanent structure. Or if you don't agree to this, then we assume that you'll do it when you have the chance. So we're just going to beat you to it. Which I think is actually the right attitude, honestly. Like, I think that needs to be a serious discussion to have with Schumer, that, like, while we have the majority.
What you just said is my co-host is going to fall off his chair because he's so excited about what you just said about that idea of doing it that way.
Right.
He's
but it's what we should do. I mean, Democrats do unprecedented things all the time. The only reason they didn't pack the court when they had Joe Biden in power is because you had 2 Democrat senators who were holding the line on the filibuster and holding the line on norms, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. They're both gone. They're out of office. So who's left among the Democrats who's willing to stand up and say, I'm not going to get rid of the filibuster, or I'm going to block any attempt to pack the court? And if the answer is 0, then Republicans shouldn't be suckers. We should force them to, present it. It's an ultimatum. Like, either you agree to permanently fix the court at 9 seats, or we add 6 more. 7 more. We're going to spend a ton of time in the Senate just adding Supreme Court justices, so many that you won't be able to confirm them. We'll just keep doing it.
We should stop this interview right now. Everybody should stop what they're doing and make that happen. Vote on it or lose at your own game. Will Chamberlain is a genius. I don't know if you came up with that or if you heard it. But
not my idea. I wish I had.
Yeah, as far as the Annie Fry show is concerned, Will Chamberlain, you just blew our minds on that. That doesn't happen very often.
Right.
I want to ask you about the just a little bit outside of the court system, but the attacks that the left is making on Tesla. I hear people talking regularly about how this is terrorism, or this is not terrorism, this is just vandalism. And I'm wondering what your thought is on the appropriate way for our justice system to approach these people who are having a really, really rough time with Donald Trump being the president, and their natural reaction is to see a Tesla and just black out and start vandalizing things. Is it important for an administration to push back on something specific like this, which is obviously an ideology that they are opposed to that's causing this vandalism to occur? What is the just thing to happen for these people who are building on this Tesla vandalism march?
Yeah, throw the book at them. And certainly that's not something the Democrats hesitated to do at all with, for example, the J6 protesters. Throw the book at them. They're committing crimes. And I'm not super familiar with the terrorism statutes, but my guess is those statutes read something like, if you commit a crime with the purpose of getting a political actor to do or not do something, that becomes a terroristic crime. You commit a violent crime with that intention, that becomes terrorism. And that increases the sentencing. And we have a lot of different places in the law where your intent or what you're trying to accomplish with a crime can increase the sentencing. Hate crimes is the most obvious example. Like, if you commit a crime motivated by racial animus, that increases the punishment. So same here. I would assume that those laws are already on the books. I'm just not an expert, so I don't know. But if those laws are on the books, you throw the book right at those protesters.
Do you feel as though Pam Bondi, as the Attorney General, is going as fast and as hard as we need her to go?
Yeah, I mean, she's only we're barely 2 months into the administration. I think we're spoiled. A lot of things have run really well for us so far. For example, border crossings are down 95% in 2 months. That's crazy. Really credit to the administration for understanding how to really, deter illegal immigration. They've done a great job of that. And we're pushing forward on any number of fronts. So she's a very busy woman. I suspect, they've opened those investigations. The law moves slowly. You need to collect all the evidence. You need to get what you need to. And there have been some indictments already. I know that there have been some federal indictments going forward, but it just takes time. You have to identify the people. If they do a good job covering their tracks, wearing masks, things like that, then it probably is trickier. But I have not seen anything to make me think that it is Pam Bondi's fault that indictments aren't moving faster.
So Will Chamberlain, speaking with us right now with the Article 3 Project, expert when it comes to these, the justice system, the legal issues that we're facing as a country, that the administration is facing. We've had a kind of an ongoing conversation on this show about the desire for people to see the perp walks. They want to see handcuffs. They want to see orange jumpsuits. They just really, really want the visual. And I've been trying to say to people, and you might admonish me on this and say that I'm wrong, and that's fine, but the success of the Trump administration can't boil down to just who we see perp walked, because you might never see the perp walk that you've been dying to see, and yet the transformation can still happen, the corruption can be rooted out, the fraud can be exposed. What do you think about that, especially on social media, that clamoring for people to see the arrests, the perp walks, the handcuffs, the whole 9 yards?
So, I mean, first off, it takes a while, right? And you should think about it from what the Democrats were, baying like wolves trying to get Trump arrested and indicted. It took them 3 years before they got that. So we're 2 months in. They had to wait 3 years for their indictments. And so and also another thing to think about, they lost the election and all those indictments dissipated into thin air, basically. They got the J6 indictments because those were easier. They were much simpler. And there was sort of bipartisan, congressional work to, give DOJ the resources. And in many ways, it was just, people weren't wearing masks or doing anything to hide their identity or location. And they were committing, they'd committed obvious crimes based on these statutes. So it was just very straightforward. With a lot of what people want in terms of indictments, if you want them to stick, take some time. They just got started. They've probably got to fight through a lot of existing DOJ hires who aren't willing to help them, or who are going to slow walk. It's going to take more than 2 months. I think everybody needs to, retrench and also realize that it's not, the real question is not whether we get these indictments done in 6 months or a year or 2 years. The question is, we got to win again, right? We got to win in 28. We got to have a durable majority, because if you do something slipshod, well, then it goes up, it gets thrown out by the judges. It goes up on appeal. There's all sorts of ways that people can fight back against lawfare, as we demonstrated against all the fight back that we were able to accomplish against the Trump lawfare. And then if you lose and it's politically motivated lawfare, well, then the pardons come out, right? Like, that Pandora's box has certainly been opened at this point. I would expect that, God forbid Democrats win in 28, their president will take office day one and pardon and commute every sentence that has even any political valence whatsoever. So I think the measure of the success of the administration is not going to be what powerful people from the other side go to jail. The measure of the success of the administration is going to be, do we win again? And that's not, that's going to ultimately be like, do we solve the immigration problem? Do we make this country safe again? Do we solve the economic problems? Do we solve our foreign policy problems?
That's great perspective.
And then if we do those things, then we'll have the time to ensure that the people who commit the crimes will ultimately face justice and not be pardoned instantly.
Hey, Will, this is Ryan, the guy who is really excited about you playing hardball on the court packing stuff. So I just back to that issue really quick before we run out of time with you. When Mike Johnson comes out and hints at something like, well, if these nationwide injunctions on the president don't stop, like you said, all these just random judges have veto power of the president. We've never seen this before and never intended it to be this way. And Mike Johnson says, well, we have some tools in our shed here. One of them being that we could defund courts. Is that actually likely? Is that politically likely? And then are they really serious about doing something like that?
I think in the event that the courts shut down the president asks them to cut their budget allocation, I think that'll happen. And I mean, it wouldn't take much to really make the job of these courts a lot harder. It would be a big shot across the bow and a big reminder to Justice Roberts, rather, that you guys, you are co-equal. You are not superior. You are a co-equal branch. The executive and the legislative branch get to push back on you, take your authority away if you anger them and are doing things that are illegitimate. So, that's one of many tools. I also think one thing Republicans are starting to understand is Democrats are terrified of a government shutdown right now because they're terrified of what Elon Musk will do if he's not constrained by Congress, if he has the authority to determine what employees are essential. So that gives us insane leverage, coming up in 6 months. If we're still dealing with these temporary restraining orders, basically it can be a take it or leave it offer to the Democrats for continuing to fund the government. that includes provisions like, you don't agree to this, you need to agree to strip these district courts of their temporary restraining order authority, or we'll go to a shutdown and we'll do all sorts of things you don't like. So there's a lot of power that we have. And I mean, it may force them to the table to negotiate. They might think to themselves too that, well, we really don't want to shut down. And also, in the event that we win power in the future, this will hamstring the way conservatives might try and use the temporary restraining order against us, which is true.
Yeah.
We certainly did have used the courts when we're out of power to try and push back on what the government is doing. And we've engaged in our own judge shopping, as I mentioned. So I think there's a real possibility that the Democrats might see it in their decide it's in their best interest to make a deal with us on this.
Will Chamberlain, what a wonderful conversation. We love when you come on with us, and it's interesting to hear. It always feels like when we're in the minority that the Democrats, they just do everything that they can get their fingers on and then some in order to push the Republicans down. And it's interesting to hear this side while we are not in the minority. We appreciate you, Will. We look forward to having you back again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Will Chamberlain is a senior counsel at the Article 3 Project. Go say hello to him on X if you enjoyed that conversation, at Will Chamberlain. And you can go to article3project.org if you want to learn a little bit more about him. Really great conversation. I love that. And I mean, why wouldn't you put up amendment right now that says we're going to codify that the Supreme Court has 9 justices on it? Do it right now. And if the Democrats vote against it, then do it. Pack the court.
I can't believe that I haven't heard this yet.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to
it's
think
such
of
a
why.
good idea.
It's like if not this, then that. And if the Democrats aren't going to agree to it because they want to pack the courts, then you have to beat them to the punch. If they don't want the Republicans to do it, for the same reason the Republicans wouldn't want the Democrats to do it, then compromise, shake hands, 9 it is.
Donald Trump is really good at leverage. What was Will Chamberlain just talking about over and over and over?
All of it.
With different issues, too. Yeah. That was the main one. But there was other ones in there talking about how they could use the government shutdown to leverage some things. It's all about the leverage that creatively maybe hasn't been used in the past, but it's time to use the leverage that Congress has.
Yeah. Mind blown. Had never heard of that, never thought of it. Will says he didn't come up with it, but in my mind, he did. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We need 20 votes to take phone calls on the YouTube live chat poll question. And I have a feeling that if we do take phone calls on this, I have a feeling we're going to get some people who are very measured. No. Would you support a third term for President Trump? Yes or no? No, because that goes against the Constitution. That's against what we want. I have a feeling we might get some people on the left who would present themselves like a MAGA Republican and talk about why absolutely, yes, you should do this.
Oh, you'd think, really?
Possibly. And then, of course, there might be some people on the other side who are like, how could we possibly having this conversation?
You know what we should do is when you go to call, you should have to show voter ID.
Yeah, you have to come here and say, I need to see Ethan Hannaford. And he's going to be like, that's not a real ID. I don't accept it. We want to know, would you support a third term for President Trump? Yes or no? YouTube.com/@AnnieFry. The voting is in the live chat of the live broadcast. Come vote. Leave it. You got 18 people left, and we're taking phone calls at the top of the 2 o'clock hour. We'll be right back before the 2 o'clock hour with a little bit about our weekends. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
The Didamore Group, you can find them online at thedidamoregroup.com. Dida with 2 T's, more with 1 O, thedidamoregroup.com. Selling your home this year in 2025, smart move to call the Didamore Group right now. Start the conversation with them about how quickly can I list my home? What do I really need to fix up on my home? What should I not waste money fixing up on my home? All of these questions you want to ask to experts, people who know the market inside and out. It's always changing, and the Dittamore Group is always in the lead. 618-531-4652. 618-531-4652. I'd encourage you to find the Dittamore Group online on Facebook to see some of the homes that they're listing. And if you're even thinking about listing your home in the future, or you're thinking about downsizing and you're like, gosh, I don't even know, what could we get for our house? Boy, make that phone call. 618-531-4652. Reach out to Tammy, Zach, Pat, Abby, and Trisha, the best team in the business at the #1 office in the Metro East, and start that conversation today. If you're looking to buy, they know what's on the market. They know it's coming on the market. You are in the very best of hands when you work with the Dittamore Group. Online at thedittamore.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living, where your loved one will enjoy chef-prepared meals, engaging activities, state-of-the-art technology, and a welcoming community that feels like home. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today. New Perspective, where every day is a chance to live life on purpose.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership, and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need, while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
The YouTube live chat poll today, we might take calls on it here in just a few minutes. Would you support a third term for President Trump? Yes or no? That's the YouTube live chat poll. And, of course, you can vote and make your voice heard there on our chat. But also stick around to see if we are going to open the phones up here pretty soon on this topic. It is 1:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
97.1 FM Talk is proudly supporting the Guns N' Hoses Queen of Hearts raffle, benefiting the St. Louis Backstoppers. Learn more at stlgunsandhoses.com and listen to the Mark Cox Morning Show Fridays at 8:20 for winner announcements. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. This is The Annie Fry Show.
So this weekend, I went to Macoupin County.
Macoupin?
Macoupin. It's not that far north. Macoupin.
Macoupin?
Eh?
I just like saying it. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I don't even know if it's an accent.
Yeah, it's like the South compared to Chicago.
Yeah.
Went to Macoupin County and spoke at their Lincoln Day dinner. And oh my gosh, this place that they had this event at, I was told by Jenny, one of the people who was putting this together, they did such an amazing job of putting together Lincoln Day dinner. Now listen, I'm going to say this and some people are going to be like, why is she saying that? And you're going to hear it negatively. I don't mean this negatively. But Lincoln Day dinners, when you go to enough of them, county to county to county, and I've been to a few, there is a lot of similarity when you go from one to the next. This venue that the Macoupin County Lincoln Day dinner was at, I believe it was called The Rustic. And I believe it was in a place called or near a city called Standard City. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah, it's what you judge everything by. Every other city, you judge it against the plumb line of Standard City.
And she told me, she's like, you're going to drive to this place and you're going to keep driving and you're going to be like, where is she leading me to? Because when you're driving in quadrants, because you're driving through plats of farmland. But I was like, I grew up in and around the country, have always been very keenly aware of like being out in farm territory and understanding what that was like. And she was right. It's like out there in the middle of Macoupin County, not nowhere. And it was such a wonderful event. The food was amazing. I think it was by, off the top of my head, a barbecue group called Fat Albert or something like that. You know, it's going to be a good one. It's called Fat Albert Barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
But they had a full room. They said they had over 100% increase in people turning out for this event over last year. Like there's something in Macoupin County that I think is being experienced in other counties across the state of Illinois that is encouraging people to be motivated to participate. And I was really excited to be a part of it. And it was a really wonderful event. I was really grateful for the opportunity. And I just want to encourage other people right now listening. I talk to at least a half a dozen different people who said, I'd never done anything like this before, but I decided to get in contact with my county group. It was like within the last year or two, but you could tell it was definitely based on the November election.
Interesting.
Get involved in your county Republican group. Find them. I think honestly, the best thing to do is find them on Facebook. Insert your county GOP, your county Republicans, whatever. Learn about them, and then just go to an event. Just participate in an event. You don't have to be somebody who's writing a monthly check. I mean, although I'm sure they'd be happy to take that. But go to their golf scramble event. Go to their Lincoln Day dinner. Show up at a chicken and beer event or something like that. Whatever they have, go participate and start being around other people who think like you, who are motivated by the right things and success. And in the state of Illinois, it becomes a little, it's not always a positive feeling. To like, if you're going to an Illinois Republican thing, it's like, gosh, what's even the point? And honestly, there's such a huge point. There's such a shift in Illinois right now. I think it's +8 for Trump, maybe +9 for Trump in the last election. And the thing of it all is that the Democrats so successfully gerrymandered the state that there's zero reflection in our representative government because the Democrats were really good at what they did. So we have to double down and fight even harder. And it's no different in Missouri, other than the fact that you have a supermajority of Republicans running things in your state. You still have to make sure that those Republicans are listening to the people. And if you become super disenfranchised, you know, if the local politics or if the state politics become annoying to you, so you kind of put your hand up and say, I'm not really interested in being a part of that, then you get what you deserve, which is whatever they want to do. You can get together with great people who are very passionate. You know, when I go to these different county events, they're all talking about their local county interests. And it was wonderful I was north of Carlinville. And 97.1 comes in crystal clear there. I did not know that.
I didn't know where it stopped around that area.
Macoupin County is Lincoln's top hat for Madison County. That's
Okay.
how I remember it. It's like
Okay.
a tall rectangle. Madison County is kind of a long rectangle, and Macoupin County goes right on the top. And so you can go north for a while in Macoupin County. Carlinville, I think, is like in the middle, if not maybe just a little south of the middle line there. But we still come in crystal clear there. So please consider sharing this show, this station, if you're listening to me right now, maybe for the first time, because there were a lot of people there who didn't know that we were on the map. We don't do a lot of events in Macoupin County. I don't know if there has ever been a St. Louis Talk Radio event in Macoupin County. I think we should. I have an idea, though. What if 97.1 did their own Lincoln Day dinner?
Ooh.
Yeah. Yes.
That would be good.
And it could be by state. It could be, we could do a Missouri one and we could do an Illinois one, maybe every other year or something. But what if we did a 97.1 Lincoln Day dinner?
I'm attending.
I'm in.
Would you all come? We would love that.
I drove out to Mount Vernon this weekend, and it was the same situation. I kept listening
I
to
think
see
the
how
proper
far it
term
goes.
is down. No?
Not really.
Over?
Over.
Yeah.
And it was a rainy day, so our signal wasn't going quite as far as I think it usually does. But I was still listening in Mount Vernon.
That's
It's
great.
a nice city. It's a really nice city.
Sylvia Law has an office in Mount Vernon. He's told me before that, yeah, we get that down there. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
The YouTube live chat poll, would you support a Trump third term for president? We have 303 votes. So we're going to take phone calls. When we come back, you can hurry up and get in line right now. I just unblocked the phones. 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Get in line, get on hold, and we'll take phone calls when we come back. 314-241-9797.
Hi, it's Mark Cox. If you're thinking about selling your home, I know you have a ton of questions. Fact is, selling your home in this real estate market isn't as easy as it used to be. Just look at the headlines. One small mistake can cost you thousands. So before you sell, take a few minutes and get to know Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, just like I have. She is St. Louis real estate expert. I've been telling you about Gloria for over 5 years now. She has written guarantees that'll give you certainty and the most money in today's uncertain market, and you're always in the driver's seat. You know exactly how much you'll make on the sale of your home from the very start. That's because Gloria will guarantee upfront and in writing to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or Gloria will buy it. Take it from me. Call Gloria today at 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Again, that's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Imagine this, a summer evening, relaxing under a beautiful porch overhang, hosting your friends on a composite deck, or enjoying a bug-free breeze in a screened room. That sounds dreamy, right? Hi, it's Kim, and that dream can be your reality with Lakeside Renovation and Design, because they specialize in creating outdoor spaces that make your backyard the go-to spot for family and friends. And with their attention to detail and the high-quality materials they use, you'll have a space that lasts for years. Visit lakesideRD.com today to get started on your outdoor oasis.
I met my wife in law school at the University of Florida. She was from upstate New York and I was from Kentucky. We met at a daily mass at St. Augustine's. She was the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen in my life. After communion, I followed her out of the church and got her phone number. The rest is history. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Little did we know that one day we would have 4 children and the largest injury firm in the world. All 4 work in the business. It's a family business. Did I ever see this coming? Hell no. We just worked very hard and treated our clients like we would want to be treated, like family. It's a full-service injury firm: auto accidents, medical malpractice, workers' compensation, Social Security, and insurance disputes. We're open 24/7, 365 days a year. Visit forthepeople.com and we can get to work on your case. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
If you've tried and failed every ED treatment, there's another fix that could work for you. It's same-day surgery, it's minimally invasive, and is performed by South County urological physicians. Hundreds of men have come to us for this outpatient procedure that has a satisfaction rate over 90%. Interested? Call South County Urological, 314-843-8000. We have the fix when pills and devices no longer work. 314-843-8000 or southcountyurological.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
From Guantanamo Bay to El Salvador, I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Suspected gang members with criminal histories and in the U.S. illegally are deported to the same prison where previous deportations led to a court fight.
The White House tells us that all 17 of these new criminal aliens they sent to El Salvador last night are members of Tren de Aragua or MS-13, and many of them are convicted murderers, rapists, and pedophiles. Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele posted a video of the new criminal aliens arriving in El Salvador last night and being transferred into the now notorious mega prison known as CCOT. The White House tells us they had all been at Guantanamo Bay before the removal to El Salvador.
Fox's Bill Malugin. The White House also says the deportations do not violate a judge's temporary restraining order because they were done under the Title VIII law, not by using the Alien Enemies Act. Secretary of State Marco Rubio calls it a successful counterterrorism operation. Wide-ranging tariffs are coming this week.
President Trump's cabinet will join him for a Rose Garden event Wednesday when the president imposes tariffs on imports from dozens of countries.
Unfortunately, these countries have been ripping off our country for far too long, and they've made, I think, their disdain for the American worker quite clear.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says there will not be exemptions at this time. President Trump says his tariff policy will balance trade relationships, bring in new revenue for the government, and attract manufacturing. Economists warn tariffs could spike prices for consumers.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. A renewed warning to rebels in Yemen from President Trump, writing in a social media post, the choice for the Houthis is clear. Stop shooting at U.S. ships and we'll stop shooting at you. Otherwise, he says, the real pain is yet to come for both the Houthis and their sponsors in Iran. The State Department just confirming a team from USAID is heading to Burma to help with earthquake relief. The Trump administration has said it plans to close that foreign aid agency. America is listening to Fox News.
Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts will take the world by storm.
The world has never faced a threat this big. And you're gonna help me stop it.
Us?
Why, you got someplace to be?
On May 2nd,
Avengers are gone. No one's coming to save the day.
their time
I think we could be the people that are coming.
has come.
Being the hero, there is no higher calling.
Let's do this.
Marvel Studios Thunderbolts. Only in theaters May 2nd. This film is not yet rated.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. If you have a 2004 or newer vehicle that's out of warranty or about to be, Endurance is urgently notifying U.S. drivers about their low-cost vehicle coverage plan designed to save drivers thousands on rising vehicle repair costs. Those who qualify can pick their plan, coverage, and repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental cars included. All covered repairs get paid directly to the repair shop for you. Call now for your free quote. Call 800-298-9383. 800-298-9383.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
A chill in the air on this Monday afternoon thanks to the northwest flow. More and more sun appearing. 55 for the high. You're caught in that wind. It's going to feel a little bit colder. Partly to mostly clear skies tonight. Have to call it cold, though. The winds will be fading. 35. Tuesday, partly sunny, 59. A growing concern about some strong to severe thunderstorms Wednesday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Who has the most 5-star reviews in St. Louis? Is the Post-Dispatch Window Retailer of the Year, J.D. Power Award winner 5 years in a row, and has the nation's best warranty coverage? Renewal by Andersen, that's who. Find out about our huge 31-day sale at rbastl.com or call 314-332-1924. rbastl.com or 314-332-1924. Renewal by Andersen, a better way to a better window.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25-plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, IGotFloor.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts can take the guesswork out of your vehicle's check engine, ABS, or maintenance light with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
There's still time to join us for a fish fry, so if you haven't yet, we'll be at St. Mary Magdalene Church in Brentwood this week. If that's your area, stop by and say hi. The whole gang will be there from the show. It's the Mark Reardon Show's Fish Fry Fridays, continuing this week in Brentwood.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Well, it's 2:07 on a Monday afternoon. We're glad that you're with us today. The YouTube live chat poll for this afternoon has to do with this question, and we've got phone calls coming in. We've got 2 lines open. I'm going to set it up a little bit, so if you want to get in line and get one of those last 2 lines, 314-241-9797, 241-9797. I'm going to start by playing this clip. We played it a little bit earlier in the show, but I want to play it again because people are going to be like, why would you even be talking about this, Annie? And that's a very good question. It's a valid question. But when you hear the way the press is pushing this question on Donald Trump, and you notice how much the press is interested in making sure that this question is part of the conversation, and you listen to how interested Donald Trump is not really in contributing to this question as being a main part of the conversation, you'll understand why we are asking today, would you support a third term for President Trump?
You said you were not joking about a third term, about possibly wanting a third term. Does that mean you're not planning to leave office on January 20th?
I'm not looking at that, but I'll tell you, I have had more people ask me to have a third term, which is, in a way, it's fourth term, because the other election, the 2020 election was totally rigged. So it's sort of a fourth term in a certain way. I just don't want the credit for the second, because Biden was so bad. He did such a bad job. And I think that's one of the reasons that I'm popular, if you want to know the truth. I think I'm popular because we've done a great job. I think we've had the best almost 100 days of any president. And most people are saying that. And it's an honor. We're bringing back our country. We're respected as a country again. And we're strongly respected. And people are amazed. I was with some very important people today, and they said that they've never seen a turnaround of the country as fast as this. Even look at our border. We have nobody coming in. And you can come into our country, but you have to come in legally. But we have nobody coming in to our country. It's almost shut down. They've never seen anything like this.
The Constitution limits a president to 2 terms. Is it your understanding that they have to be?
I don't even want to talk about it. I'm just telling you, I have had more people say, please run again. They said, we have a long way to go before we even think about that. But I've had a lot of people. Yeah, go ahead. Did you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, do you think that's an appropriate precedent to set, even if it wasn't you in this position, to see a president serve a third term?
I don't want to talk about a third term now because no matter how you look at it, we got a long time to go. We have a long time. We have almost 4 years to go. And that's a long time. But despite that, so many people are saying, you've got to run again. They love the job we do. Most importantly, they love the job we do.
How many times does he say, like, verbatim, I don't want to talk about that?
About 10 or 11.
Repeatedly trying to rebuff the question and say, like, let's talk about the things we're doing. And, this is being talked about by you people, which is when he says, I've been asked about this so much. I can't tell you how many times this question has come up. There's an interest in the agenda-driven media to keep the third term conversation going, and they're doing a pretty good job of it. So we thought, well, what the heck? Let's ask our audience today, would you support a third term for President Trump? Yes or no? And we said earlier in the show, hey, if we get to 300 votes in the YouTube poll today by the 2 o'clock hour, we'll take your phone calls on it. And we are folks of our word. So we've got one phone line left, 314-241-9797. I'm going to push through these as quickly as I can. So let's get what your thoughts are. We're going to start with Alan. Alan, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. Would you support a third term for President Trump?
Absolutely not.
And why is that?
No. Well, I mean, of course, you've got the basic of the constitutional amendment saying that you can't do that, yeah. Right? And then I think, the screener, try to streamline this, I wish he would just say no. When the time comes, I will hand choose someone to run next, and then leave it alone, because I think that would be so much chaos, and just chaos, period. Like we've had chaos at the end of the Biden term, it would be chaos at the end of his, that all the support would shift over, and the next thing you know, we've got all these hard left progressives back in there again. It's like just I don't care if he's kidding, I don't care whatever he's doing. I wish somebody inside his circle would just say, look, just say no, I can't do that. It's against the Constitution. Period.
There you go.
And then let's move to the next thing and go on.
Alan, thank you for the phone call. Yeah, he can't help himself. He can't. he's the troll's troll.
Yeah. Yes. He can't. You're right. It's the same. We
He
said
is
this
saying
before.
he is saying no. He's saying no in Trumpian.
Yes.
No.
Correct. That's the yeah. That's correct.
Let's get to Mark. Mark, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. Would you support a third term for President Trump? Yes or no?
No.
And why not?
I voted for Trump all 3 times. Even if they were to do that and he were to get another term, then what do you do after that 4 years?
No.
I really hope that they're working to set up J.D. Vance as the next successor to be the president, to where the party would have their president in place for another 8 years after Trump. And I think that way they could probably accomplish more long-term with that approach.
Well, I appreciate the phone call, Mark, and I agree. Also, Trump is 78, I believe, right now. He'll be 79 in June, I think. I think his birthday is the same day as Flag Day. And he'll turn 79 in June of 25. So he would be in office through 25, or 28, 6, 7, 8. This could be 82, right? Wouldn't that be right? 82. He's not running again. Like, there's going back to Alan's comment when he's like, I wish he would just say no. I think he thinks it's so absurd to run for a third term that the no kind of precedes the question.
Yeah. Well, how about this? 45, 47, 49.
Wait the term. Sit out.
Sit out a term again.
Regroup.
Yeah, because you've done a great job skipping one in between this time.
Yeah, somebody said that they'd be all in on 48. He can't be 48. Unless it starts over when you serve your next two-term office.
Yeah, you wouldn't be 48. That's right.
Let's get to Andy. Andy, thank you for calling the Andy Fry Show. Would you support a third term for President Trump, yes or no?
I would not. Absolutely not.
And how come?
The Constitution, as the other guys said, and I think the issue with me is more of this appears to be his attitude, his narcissism, that only he can do these things. And I think that while it may not ultimately get there where we're voting on it or he's doing something legally, this isn't the last we're going to hear about this, but it's part of the pattern that he believes he's the best and the greatest, and why wouldn't he? If he's got people around him telling him, he must be a good reason, and that's part of it. You know, he surrounds himself with people that are telling him these things. He's basically said that, right? So I just the reason is no, or that's my reason. I think
so. You don't, Andy. You don't agree. You don't agree with our assessment that the reason he doesn't outright say no, that's absurd and unconstitutional, is because he is considering it.
I believe he doesn't say no in that because he likes people telling him that he can. He likes the idea of doing it. He likes the attention. He likes talking about it. That's why he doesn't say no.
What if
whether he does or not, I don't know if he'll get there. You're right. He's old. He might say this is enough, whatever. But I think he thinks so much of himself that he could do it or should do it or whatever.
Andy, what if, and because I partially agree with you.
I agree too.
I partially agree that he loves the attention, but the place where I disagree with you is that the attention that he loves is not the advisors blowing smoke up his rear saying you should really consider this, because I don't think his advisors are actually saying that to him. I think the attention he loves is from his detractors losing their minds over it.
Maybe. I don't know. But, I think it's reasonable, I think, to be concerned about. It's nothing based on, anecdotal. Your poll is not near universally no. And, you would have asked me 4 or 5 years ago after January 6th, that poll in a similar way, I would have thought no way. And 3-4 years from now, who knows? So
I think
it's
that
not something we can ignore and laugh off.
No, Andy, I think that if I don't know, maybe you could go to NPR if it's still around here somewhere. If they did a poll asking their audience if they would support an Obama third term, I bet it would mirror the results of this one.
I don't know about that. I mean, but you have to compare that to, there's Obama even talking about that. I mean, is that really a thing?
He
compared
literally,
to Trump?
Andy, with all due respect, he literally sat in a network news interview and said he would love a third term if he could have a front man do it, where he called the shots, but he didn't have to be the guy. And then Joe Biden got elected, and Obama was calling a lot of the shots.
I kind of recall that, but it sounded, if I remember, that's like a hypothetical. Like, what would you do with the third term? Blah, blah, blah. Like, this is not, he didn't put a Twitter picture of himself as a king.
Andy,
and
with all
it's
due
just not
respect,
the same.
there is nothing that Donald Trump has done as president of the United States that flies in the face of constitutional restrictions. The way that we have material evidence of Barack Obama, in his own words, confidently, without any sort of fear of pushback, because why would he in the media, saying to a legitimate reporter that he would love to serve a third term. He was asked the specific question that he would love to serve a third term if he didn't actually have to be the guy in front of the camera out there doing the job, if he could call the shots from afar. Like that's literally what we have from Barack Obama's mouth, and it wasn't said in jest. He was answering a serious reporter's serious question, and he said that. And then when Joe Biden became the president, Jen Psaki said with regularity that they have very, very regular conversations with Barack Obama. And now we know that within even a year before Biden was out, that they were prepping for which justice was going to swear Kamala Harris in when Joe Biden croaked. I mean, a lot of these things, I agree with you, Andy, that a third term, my answer for this YouTube poll, if I haven't made it explicitly clear yet, is absolutely I would not support a third term for Donald Trump. So if that needs to be said, I'll make that clear. I would not support that. I don't want kings. I don't want it from the Republican Party. I don't want it from the Democratic Party. But to suggest that there's some sort of legitimate fear that Donald Trump would try to turn this country over and become some sort of monarch, there is zero evidence to suggest that that would actually be the case.
I disagree, but that's okay.
All right. Good to talk to you, Andy. Thanks for being there.
I think that if there was any legitimate case for him going through with trying to become a permanent president or go against the constitutional order that we have now, you would have seen him use the military or something crazy that we didn't see in 2020 when he said, no, I won this election. This was a fraudulent election. He would have done something very extreme to stay in power, and he didn't. Like he actually got impeached again. So like the constitutional order
if I
maintained.
could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. I'd be fine with that because I found the work fascinating. I write about the even on my worst days, I found puzzling out, if I could make it.
So when you listen there to Barack Obama in a very serious sit-down CBS interview with the renowned reporter Stephen Colbert, not jokingly asking the question about the third term and explaining how he would do it, if we didn't have the Joe Biden 4-year example of what that would look like, I wouldn't use that to call back. That wouldn't be something I'd be like, well, he said he was going to do it. They'd be like, yeah, but he didn't do it. Donald Trump got elected. That didn't happen. Hillary Clinton wasn't sitting there taking moves from an earpiece from Barack Obama. If we didn't have the example of Joe Biden, who was clearly out of his wits, clearly, from the time he was running in the primary, not up for the job. If we didn't have that, it's like spare me the outrage of Donald Trump not to the extent that the Democrats would be satisfied, which is never, that Donald Trump is not out there declaring without any sort of lack of clarity that he's not going to run for a third term. He says repeatedly, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. He's trolling.
The only area
and the
where
reporters are fishing.
I would question the legitimacy of what you're saying is that Joe Biden was clearly in charge.
You're ridiculous.
Joe Scarborough said he was sharp as a tack, like right before he was out of office. So everybody said it. It must have been sharp.
Tad, Katie, and Tom, I've got you guys on hold. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and get your calls in here, and want to hear what you think. So let's get to those responses, your responses as well, in the Annie Fry YouTube poll. Would you support a third term for president? Yes or no? Real quick break, and when we come back, Tad, Katie, and Tom, stay close. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan want you to understand how simple it is to hook yourself up with the best deal in the mortgage business. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. You can Google the Bagel Loan to find out more information as well on how you can secure a mortgage and go through the process and end up paying $0 in closing costs. Not closing costs to get rolled into the loan or come back to get you later. They just don't exist. That's how Stewie and Stewart's American Mortgage has been set up. To do business directly with you, to give you Stewie's direct phone number so that when it's time for you to apply for a mortgage and to get that big loan that you're going to get, probably the biggest bill that you have to pay, that you make the smartest move possible. Stewie is there to guide you through that. You can do the same thing with a refinance. Lower your rate from the interest rate highs that have been in the last couple years. If they have come down since then, you can lock in a lower rate and pay $0 in closing costs to get it. 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan and MLS number 226-715.
Some people follow the rules, but where's the fun in that? I'm Soraya, and this is Rule Breakers, the podcast where we celebrate the rebels, the risk takers, and the ones who make their own way. Every week, I sit down with the boldest voices in sports, entertainment, and beyond to talk about breaking barriers, defying expectations, and rewriting the rules. No limits, no apologies, just real talk. Follow and listen to Rule Breakers with Soraya, an Odyssey podcast, available now for free on the Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Make this the year you upgrade your backyard with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mark Cox here. Mention my name. You're going to get 48 months interest-free financing on that great outdoor project. You will love working with my friends at Chesterfield Fence. They do free in-home estimates at no obligation, free project design in case you've got something in mind already. Maybe you need a new fence. They do wood and vinyl. Those vinyl fences, low maintenance, lifetime product. You can do aluminum, steel, or chain link fences as well. And when it comes to decks, nobody does it better. Beautiful natural cedar decks. They've got the vinyl decking as well, which is maintenance free and a beautiful array of colors. Plus, they do custom sunrooms, pergolas, screen rooms, even retaining walls and patio doors. So you could talk to my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. They are Better Business Bureau accredited with an A+ rating. Go online today at chesterfieldfence.com.
I put money into real estate, and from there came one of my largest returns on one of our properties, which is about close to 300% return in about 14 months.
That's Joe Cantu on what Lifestyles Unlimited has done for him. Join Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited for Expo 2025, May 7th through the 10th in Irving, Texas. Get hands-on training from successful investors and learn proven strategies that work. Save $100 when you text EXPO to 88007, EXPO to 88007.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Prices are going up in 2025 on HVAC equipment. Save now with 2024 pricing on a new system today. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com/new.
97.1 on command. Just tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 FM Talk. Or download the Odyssey app and stay on top of everything happening anytime, even when you're not close to a radio. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I said a little bit earlier in the show that the Diamond Shop was going to be having some great sales in April, and I was like, I said, if you went today, you could probably squeeze those sales in if you said the Annie Fry Show sent you. They're not open on Monday. Don't go. But do go tomorrow to the Diamond Shop. I'm talking to you specifically because Mrs. Wiggins would love something from the Diamond Shop for Mother's Day.
Yeah, she would. Yeah, she would. All right, I'll go today, like you said.
No, I said not today.
Oh, sorry.
Close Sundays and Mondays.
Sorry.
Go to the Diamond Shop tomorrow and tell them that I said hello.
Okay.
Good?
I'll go. Yeah.
The YouTube live chat poll for today. Would you support a third term for President Trump? Yes or no? We've got Tad, Katie, and Tom. I'm going to get to their phone calls. Let's see here. A couple of comments from the YouTube before I get there. 100% no. Absolutely no reason for him to have a third term. He's not any more special than any other two-term presidents. Joe says, nope. 2 per person, still fixing things. FDR did 90 years ago. The Washington term limit is the best policy we've ever come up with. Anthony said he deserves a third term to make up for all the obstacles he faced in his first term. That sounds constitutional. Gary said, I'm a no, and we don't want to open the door for crazy Democrats to do the same thing if, God forbid, they get back in power. So keep sending your comments on the Annie Fry YouTube channel and let us know what you think. I'm going to get to Brad and Ryan's thoughts here, but first, let's talk to some callers. Tad, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. Your thoughts on the YouTube poll. Would you support a third term for President Trump?
Yeah, Annie, I can't answer that because it's not possible. The 22nd Amendment takes care of it. He couldn't run for vice president and finagle his way into the spot because you have to be eligible for the presidency to run for the vice presidency.
Tad, are you saying this is a non-issue?
I'm saying at the current status, it's a non-issue. But so the only way to change this is by amendment. By the way, had I been around when the 22nd Amendment was passed, I think I would have been opposed to it. I think the American people ought to get whoever they want as many times as they want. I would prefer to see term limits for the Senate and the House. Why? Because it's much more difficult to unseat an incumbent senator or representative than it would ever be to unseat an incumbent president, regardless whether you're talking about Trump or anyone else. It would have to be an amendment. And here's the thing. That's why I think it's next to impossible to get 2/3 of each house to do that. I think 3/4 of the states might be might be doable. But in order to get 2/3 of each house to amend the Constitution, there would have to be an overwhelming result in the midterms to do that. That's the only conceivable way he could ever run for a third term.
Tad, thank you for the phone call. I like the little constitutional lesson there.
I do too. I like that he brought up the Convention of States. We need to talk about the Convention
Get Rick
of
Santorum
States
back
more.
on the show?
Yeah, let's get Rick
about
Santorum back on.
The 50% divided nature of our government right now, it's almost split right down the middle. We can't even make tax cuts permanent with a small majority of Republicans. To think that we would be able to pass any sort of constitutional amendment whatsoever is a joke to me.
Right now.
Sure.
But the things that Trump is doing are going to be so popular among everybody in the country.
Everybody.
That by the time we get to the end of his term.
Especially if all of these Democrat senators keep saying, I'm not doing this anymore. If they keep dropping out. Let's get to Katie's phone call. Katie, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. Would you support a third term for President Trump?
Well, as nice as it would be to have consistency and stability with Trump for an extra term, I really think 2 terms is enough for any single American.
Yeah.
You know how we in Illinois are dreading the possibility of 3 Pritzker terms?
Yes.
We would not want to open up the possibility of the entire country being ruled by a liberal for maybe 12 full years in a row anytime in the future.
That's very well said, Katie. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate it. She's spot on. Illinois, no term limits. Lord Pritzker could rule us for the rest of his life. How's that make you feel? Hasn't Trump spoken out and said he's in support of term limits? He said he supports term limits for Congress.
I don't know. I don't remember
I
that.
am confident that he has said that in like rally speeches and stuff.
Yeah, I think when he was talking about how the Democrats had control of Congress, he was probably like, yeah, we need term limits.
Again, there's no single inch of my brain that thinks that Donald Trump is actually considering running for a third term for so many reasons. Number one being his age. Number two being, I don't think that he thinks that that's the right thing to do. And I think that matters to him. I think everybody hold on to your seats on the left. He's a moral person. I think he understands the Constitution. I think he's a patriot. And I don't think that he would want to do that. Now, mark the tape just in case. That's my assessment right now. Let's get to our last phone call. Tom, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. Would you support a third term for President Trump? Yes or no?
The answer is no. I agree with several of the previous callers. Even though a third term would be good for the country, I think he'd be making too many enemies and have the Democrats saying, we told you he was going to be president. Look what he's doing. And he'd just lose too much of his popularity. So I think that's part of the reason. I think they ought to stop talking about it right now.
Yeah.
You know, don't get those loons going.
Tom, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. Wise words to end on, Ryan. Don't get those loons going.
Don't get those loons going. He was just talking about the birds.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what he was talking about. I'm going to peek at the results. I don't usually do this. We have 3. Okay, now it's counting up. Is there a percentage? Have you looked at the results at all? Have you, Brad?
No.
Is there a percentage breakdown in this poll that would make you uncomfortable?
If it was overwhelmingly, no, not really, because if it was overwhelmingly yes, I think that the people who listen to the show and who would be very, very pro-Trump also are pro-Constitution, and so they would understand that they were not voting to break the constitutional law. They would be coming up with some sort of way that it becomes constitutional, like Tad was saying.
If we had a wild red wave in the midterms and they could pass an amendment that said that Trump could run for a third term, would you support that?
No, I wouldn't.
So you're a no on this poll to begin with?
Yeah. As much as I like Trump, and a lot of people have said this, I think Rick was one who said, I'm not sure that he can accomplish everything we really need to in 4 years. So a third term in that sense would help.
But don't the ideas have to be bigger than the man?
Yes. But he is so unique in that if he gets to a point where he's actually that popular, I don't know what he would do, because he's so built for fighting and so built for this moment in time that we're so divided that I'm not sure how he would react. It's like he's made for the moment in this political history in this time.
Like Esther. Christopher said, just got here. What on earth is the basis for anyone saying yes to this poll? Is there a basis to say yes to this poll?
I think that the basis was that there could be a constitutional way to do it. It's very difficult, but it does exist.
Not currently, but a path.
Yeah, there's a path.
A pathway to presidentship.
It's a pathway in which we cannot see how you get to that pathway.
Well, I'm an emphatic no. Brad, what do you think? Would you support a third term for President Trump?
No, I wouldn't support that. Like everybody has been saying, 2 terms is enough. I think it was Caller Tad that said one of the best things we ever did was limit the term of the president to 2 terms. I think he's right. You know, the spirit of the United States was always that we would have, you know, a president that was of the people, not a king, nothing like that. And I mean, when George Washington was elected, he was elected to 2 terms, and then he voluntarily stepped down of his own accord. And no other president did that, took more than 2 terms until FDR, and then FDR did 4.
Freaking Democrats.
Yeah, you started it, Dad.
Yeah.
You started this.
And then they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I thought we had a gentleman's agreement here. Let's change the process. And it's right. Sometimes you need these rules in place to keep honest people honest. And I just don't support a 4-3, 2 terms is good. 2 terms, 8 years of a president is good. And that allows us to move forward with whoever's next in the MAGA agenda or whichever direction the country goes.
Scoot says he'd be 82, little long in the tooth, and I want to know where the phrase little long in the tooth came from.
I know the answer to that question.
Are you making it up?
Can you believe that?
As
I know
somebody
the answer.
who is little long in the tooth? Go ahead.
No, I'm not. It's because when you bury a body, and when they would dig up bodies back before they really knew why, like they didn't know this, but your gums would be the first thing of your soft tissue to recede. So if they
When you're dead or still alive?
When you're dead. So when they would dig up a body, if they would see, because they would bury people alive sometimes back then, and they would actually bury them.
Who's this they that you're talking about?
Society. They would bury people.
Society?
Yeah. They would bury people alive, but they were bad at determining whether somebody had fallen into a coma or fallen asleep or passed out. So they would bury somebody. That's why we'd have a wake to see if they would wake up.
Yeah.
And then they'd bury them, and they'd bury them with a bell, with a string attached to a bell.
Yeah, I knew that.
And they'd ring the bell if they woke up in a coffin. And that's where the term dead ringer comes from.
Yeah.
And
Are you
so-
just...
No.
This sounds prepared.
And
You're like
it's
the
also-
Laffy Taffy rapper of
It's also
idioms.
where the term saved by the bell comes from.
Would you like to hear what Grok says it came from?
Hold on a second. No, I'll get the real answer here from you in a second, Brad. But why...
Let me finish up with
Yeah, you've given us the explanation of 7 idioms and not...
When
long
they
in the
would dig
tooth.
up a body and find that, oh, no, it actually was dead, we were just making sure, the gums would have receded and the tooth would look a lot longer. All the teeth would look longer.
So Scooter is referring to an alive, aged man as long in the tooth, which is a reference to dead people?
It's like saying you're ancient. You're a corpse.
They're saying you're what?
Ancient.
Ancient.
Yeah.
Ancient.
Yeah.
There's
Folks.
no K. Ah, stop it! Gosh!
Folks, who do you agree
No!
with? When I say ancient,
Folks.
you know that I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Folks.
And you also
it's spelled
hear...
Foaks, folks.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not folk music. It's folk music.
No, it's not. Oh
It
my
is.
gosh, that gets under my skin. Grok.
By the way, under your skin, that's a term.
I am gonna hit you.
Well, according to Grok, Ryan was right about gums.
Thank you.
But the phrase long in the tooth originated from the practice of evaluating a horse's age by examining its teeth. Horses' teeth continue to grow throughout their lives, and as they age, their gums recede. So that's the part you were right about.
It happens to humans,
But
too.
it was about horses.
Yeah.
And making the teeth appear longer. This method was commonly used by horse trainers.
This is like Ryan going, I've heard of the phrase. And I was chewing gum when I heard it.
Everything I
and then
told
he
you
put
is
that
true.
together.
Everything I
and
told you
then
is
we're
true.
just like, okay, I guess if Ryan said it, it must be true.
You guys,
folks.
for the record, never do that.
What?
Ever just go, oh, I guess what Ryan said was true.
Because Grok just proved that you
Never.
knew 20% of
Ever.
what you were talking about.
In the entire history of the show, would you just go, well, if Ryan said it, it must be true?
We do get. That's true.
Thank you.
See, you're right.
Thank you.
You make a great point.
I made a point about myself, which was true.
This is factual. I've never really looked at it that way. This is you're really smart in that.
Yeah,
assessment.
it's illuminating. It's like the Illuminati. By the way, do you want to know
I
more
don't
about
want
that?
to know
No?
your thoughts on the Illuminati.
Okay.
That's how we get canceled. So it's about horses.
It's about horses.
Not
yeah.
dead people.
Right.
No, it can't apply to dead people because that happens. It's one of the first things
That's
to go.
not where it originated from, which is what the conversation started
Not to mention
about.
the fact that dead people, their gums decaying after they're dead wouldn't determine how old they were because their gums wouldn't decay until after they were dead.
I think it does happen to humans even before they die, though. Like your gums are
But that's
one of
not
your
what
softest tissue.
that wasn't what you
but what I said
you
is
said
true,
in
though.
the grave.
Yes. What I said is true.
What?
That does happen.
Which part?
The part where the first thing to go on a corpse is the gums.
That doesn't have anything to do with long in the tooth and age.
I think it does.
To you, I can tell it does.
All of these phrases that I just outlined, they all have a very strong historical significance.
Get on the Annie Fry YouTube channel and grade what Ryan just did. Just give us a grade. A, B, C, D, or F. I need to know.
No, that's tomorrow's poll.
Thanks, Scooter, for the content. We appreciate it. Play the music, Brad. D minus.
A plus.
Oh, Vicky says D minus.
No, Vicky.
Did you say Vicky?
Vicky. Let's be friends. Come on.
We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
If you love me, come on, get involved. Feel it rushing through you from your head to toe.
All right, the first thing that I'm going to tell you about artistic decks, which you can call directly at 314-280-0821. When you reach out to Artistic Decks to get your dream deck built this summer, they can build it this summer. That's a really important part of the whole process of acquiring, everything that you need to go through to get the deck to happen and get in line with the company and everything. And you're all excited. We're going to have this great summer drinking and sipping lemonade on the new deck. And then you're like, okay, they'll get to us in like 2027 or something crazy. Nope. Artistic Decks. I'm so excited to be partnering with them so that you can have the deck of your dreams that is affordable, that you can enjoy this summer. Again, 314-280-0821, 314-280-0821. May I interest you in free design and consultation? They handle their own permitting process, which can often be the thing that kind of slows everything down. They are on top of it. They are insured, of course. They specialize in PVC and wood composite along with treated and cedar decks. And I have seen these. You can go look right now at artisticdecks.net. The decks that they build are so stunning. It's the stuff of dreams. You've been thinking about expanding that living space in your home. And, okay, we're going to add on a room. That's hugely expensive. When you build the deck of your dreams on your home, you have now expanded that footage, the square footage that you get to enjoy at your own home. And you want the very best, done by the very best. And that's Artistic Decks. 314-280-0821. 314-280-0821. Call my friends. Tell them Annie sent you at Artistic Decks. Go online to artisticdecks.net.
Experience the exhilarating atmosphere of a Cardinals game. Join the sea of red in the wave around the stadium. Feel the rush of excitement as a home run lights up the sky with fireworks, bringing the whole ballpark to their feet. Nothing beats the thrill of watching the Cards get the W with the final out at the plate. It's more than a game. It's an experience. Visit Cardinals.com for tickets and info. St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Game tickets? Check.
A round of cold beers? Check.
Ballpark hot dogs? Check.
Baseball is back and nothing beats a night out with the guys.
Or ladies.
At a Cardinals game.
From thrilling games and mouth-watering eats to the iconic ballpark energy, Busch Stadium is the ultimate spot for you and your crew to dive into America's favorite pastime.
Make your next night out the best one yet. Join us at Busch Stadium, where every hour is happy.
For tickets, visit Cardinals.com.
St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
By the way, the person that had to wait and listen for the bell to ring in the graveyard would have to sit there all night just waiting to see if they buried anybody alive. They called that the graveyard shift.
Because he was working in the graveyard.
The overnight shift. The overnight in the graveyard was the graveyard shift.
Maybe we could get you moved to the graveyard shift.
It's Coast to Coast with Ryan Wiggins. YouTube live chat poll. Would you support a third term for President Trump? Yes or no? Let us know. We'll give you the results of this poll in just a minute. 2:45. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, good Monday afternoon. There's a lot going on today. The astronauts finally had something to say after their return to Earth a couple of weeks ago. Bill Hemmer did a great interview, and they had a news conference this afternoon. We got Selena Zito coming up as well. We're going to take a very close look at the Wisconsin Supreme Court race tomorrow, and we'll talk about the Cardinals hot start. It's all coming up after Fox News.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Baby, can't you see I'm calling? A guy like you should wear a warning. It's dangerous. I'm falling. There's no escape. I can't.
Song reminds me of Spring Break 2004.
Me too. It's
Where were
Brittany.
you?
It's
Brittany. You can finish that sentence.
I can't. not on the radio.
I almost in my head, I had if I had OCD, which I have a touch of it, I need to off the microphone just go, it's Brittany. And then I have to say it. I have to hear it.
Wench.
It's a different song. It's Brittany Wench.
What was the thing? It's not excusable, but there's reason for it. Is that what we said last week?
No, there's
on cursing.
There's not an excuse, but there's an explanation.
I don't remember. I said something
you
like
said
that.
it.
No, I think Annie did, and I just agreed.
Brian explained how he does curse in our conversation this weekend. I had a lot of people come up to me at the Macoupin County, Macoupin County Lincoln Day dinner and tell me how they would have answered the cussing question.
Oh, yeah?
I was like, okay.
So they are listening.
Yeah.
In
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
But you said that you do cuss, but only when it is very appropriate to do so and applicable. And then you voted, I think, no, you don't cuss, and it's not okay.
Yeah, I did.
Which I said, what the hell is that?
Yeah, I don't really. But when I do, I make it a point to make sure that I
Stay
use
thirsty,
it
my
correctly.
friend.
Dose a keys.
Yes.
Stay explicit, my friends.
That's right. That's right. Stay thirsty, my friends.
Instead of friends, use a different word.
I need a Wiggins America, Ethan, where you clip it and just bleep out random words like Ryan does sometimes to my stuff, and just imagine how foul.
What if I did it during the intro? It was like Wiggins. Oh, beep.
I was gonna ask you guys something at the start of this segment, and I don't remember what it was.
Don't worry about it.
That's what we call the Ethan effect.
What do you got?
You want more facts from England, the 1500s?
That's the Ryan effect.
Do you have some on deck?
I do.
Oh, God.
I do. Do you want to know where the phrase "don't throw the baby out with the bathwater" came from?
The bathwater would get so dirty that, because they wouldn't change it, that you'd literally not want to. If you needed to clean, if the bathwater had gone bad, you need to make sure the baby wasn't in there.
It's true. So dirty.
It's a lot of questions that I have other than the bathwater.
And there was a hierarchy in the family where the man got the first bath because he was out working the most.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know if the hierarchy went to then the wife or the oldest son. I don't know how it went, but I know the man was first and the youngest kid would have been last.
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the baby would be bathed in dirty water, dirty water. And it would be
dirty,
so
like cussing water.
Yeah, filthy water.
Filthy.
Look at all those words floating around in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, terrible.
So they would say, "Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater," because the bathwater was so dirty you would not even be able to see the kid in it.
Do you know the reason people carry flowers at weddings? Not you.
Oh,
Ethan, who doesn't?
No, I don't.
All right, let's get Ryan's explanation.
Is because most people got married in the summer, and they only took yearly baths. So they would.
It was a literal fragrance.
They were trying
assistance.
to hide the
Look
fact
at
that they
Ethan's
smelled
face.
bad. Yeah, that's why you carry a bouquet.
Ew.
Yeah, that's why I still carry a bouquet.
That's why I keep giving Ryan flowers.
What point then did it just become like, oh, they're pretty?
I don't
Must
think
have been something.
anybody ever thought flowers were pretty. I think it was just a smell.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the bride.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
at what point were they like, well, we don't need these anymore, but they're pretty, so we're just gonna keep using them? Like,
I don't know. Specifically the year, Ryan?
1577.
Ethan, do you say the L in folks?
hey folks. Probably not.
Because you're smart.
Folks. I don't think I say it like that.
Because it would be wrong. And you're a broadcaster. You're an official broadcaster.
Yeah, duh.
Unlike us.
Totally.
I don't think that anybody ever said, "Hey, you know that word, folks? There's a silent L in there." I don't think anybody ever taught that. It's just preference, Ethan.
You didn't have to teach it. It was just understood.
It's just preference. It's not as if people are going, "Oh no, that's a silent L."
Brad, do you say it with the L or no?
I don't think so.
What about
I know that I'm
ancient?
among the.
The only person on the face of this earth that I've heard say ancient is Ryan.
Do you say the ancient?
No.
You want to beat him up for it? You look like
What do
you
you say, ancient?
Yes, that's what everybody says. Ancient.
How do you
Ancient.
Ancient.
Sailor boy over here.
AIN ancient. CHENT. Ancient.
Ancient.
No.
Yes. Oh,
no,
yes.
you need to take your K and your L and put them in your back pocket and knock it off.
Shove 'em up.
Absolutely not.
Never mind. No cursing.
The ancient folks.
Yes.
No, nobody knows what that means.
All of these weird old wives' tale things come from ancient folks.
She looks like she wants to hurt you.
In the old days,
I'm
they used
not
to
even
cook-
joking. I
What?
feel the L when you say that. I feel like my chest tighten when you say folks. Ancient frustrates me, but the folks thing, because you say it, that's really how you say it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know that the L was silent. I just thought that I was saying it wrong.
See? you are. I can confirm that.
No, but I say it, folks.
Here's one. Mad Scientist says, my wife still can't call an Afghan, like a blanket. She calls it an Afghan. That's probably what you call it too, isn't it?
That's a
Ryan?
country.
Afghan.
Those
Do you know?
are
Have you ever
people
heard
from the country?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Have you heard of a blanket being called an Afghan?
No.
Really?
No.
Have you, Ryan?
We just say duvet.
Shush. They're not all duvets.
Oh.
Have you heard of a blanket?
I guess I don't have all that
Shush,
money.
Brad.
I've heard of it. I couldn't identify what the difference is between a blanket and an Afghan, though.
So you've never been like, hey, can I have that Afghan?
No, I've never said that.
We just sleep under our rugs.
I say, give me that blanket.
We
We
call
said
our
it.
rugs blankets because of that, yeah. Our kids don't know the difference.
How do you say, Quick Rick says, how do you say FOLK music?
Folk.
Huh?
Folk music.
Dang it, that's not right.
Yeah, folk singer.
Vicky says Afghans are crocheted, which makes sense because I grew up referring to certain blankets in our home as Afghans, and they were crocheted.
Oh, I didn't know you pronounced that way. I always say crotchets. Get this.
Poor Annie.
Thank you. Yeah, how do you say of an egg?
Of an egg?
Shush. YOKE or YOLK? How do you pronounce it? You say the L.
I think I say yolk.
Why? Did we have a conversation about the silent L in yolk?
I might say yolk. I actually don't know. I don't say it often enough.
Ethan, sometime this week, you need to ambush surprise Ryan and make him say the word yolk and see how he says it on video. Get him to say it real fast so he doesn't have time to think about it. It's got to be full on ambush.
So you're wanting me to say, yell at him, say yolk right now, or you wanting me to bring it up casually in conversation?
You're gonna have to be. You
do
creative.
it this way. Say, "Hey Ryan, I've been listening to a lot of egg music. What kind of music would you call egg music? Like just the stuff in it." If we were writing songs about that, and I'll go, I don't know, yolk music.
What does that mean?
And then you'll know that I wasn't just kidding around.
What is egg music?
I don't know, but I'm trying to present a scenario that it would catch me off guard.
Not a scenario that makes sense, though.
No.
Okay.
Let's take a lap on the
That
YouTube
couldn't
live
be
chat
you.
poll today. Would you support a third term for President Trump? We have 377 votes in today, almost 400 votes on a poll, which is pretty high for us. Ryan?
I'm a no. Even though I like President Trump and I think a third term he would do great in, I just don't want to set that precedent.
Brad?
Yeah, I'm a no on this as well.
Oh, you had me there for a second.
I'm a no on it.
Yeah, I'm
Two's
a no.
enough.
I'm a no.
Milk.
Ethan, do you have thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm a no for the same reason as everyone else. I feel like it would. Earlier when I was screening calls, there was a couple of people that brought up that it would set the narrative that Democrats want to be set, and I completely agree with that.
MILK. What do you say?
Milk.
Mick.
Pass the milk, please. Milk.
See?
Yes, see?
You're saying the L.
Yes, I am, because the word's milk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's spelled that way. Pretty much the same setup as a
You
FOLK.
yourself just said you say yolk.
I think I do. I don't know. I need to get ambushed with a beautiful question.
Ryan, what do you think
I
about
say
egg
by a
music?
beautiful person. This isn't.
He broke.
This isn't
He's
gonna work.
gone, folks.
What about dancing the?
Jig?
Yeah, no. Polka.
What?
Polka.
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 Polka. I think I said the L.
Polka. Yeah. What about
We're gonna run out of
Marshall
Law.
Falk?
Falk. Marshall Falk, I think. I don't think I say the L.
Ah.
Get him on the show. I've had him on the show before. Real quick, I have the results. Do you have the results?
63% say no to a third term. 37% say yes.
379 votes. Thanks for being here with us today. Don't go away, because Mark Reardon's coming up next.
A lot of people are getting their air conditioners tuned up and ready to go for the summer, and we're getting a lot of calls of people saying they want a second opinion, to have us come out and requesting us to come out there and take a look at their air conditioners. They've been told that they need a new one, and the repair is quite costly, and it might be best for them to replace the air conditioner and then repair it. If you're in that situation, please give me a call, because there is truly some opportunities here for you. That we could save you lots of money, because I'm sure you're going to be shocked. We have the equipment that still works best for you with your budget. It's pretty much the best. It's what I would put in my home. It's what I would recommend. Give me a call. It's Bart Inman. One easy number, the easiest number in Missouri and Illinois. That is 314-293-2600. Or the online thing, and that is bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Tomorrow, some of us will wake up and it will be our last day on this earth. It will be unexpected and without warning. Each year, 250,000 people will die from medical malpractice, the third leading cause of death in America. 43,000 will die in a car or truck crash. 6,000 will die working on the job. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, and we represent many of these families. It's awful. Unfortunately, many times some of these family members are not speaking and never get to say, I'm sorry or goodbye. If you're at odds with a loved one, listen closely. Pick up the phone. Call them. Say you're sorry. I promise a huge burden will be lifted from your heart and your soul will be renewed. Even if you're not wrong in your own mind, it doesn't matter. Death is bad enough.